My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you have looked around your life and quietly wondered why everything feels different. You have sensed a change that you cannot fully explain. Some doors have closed without warning. Some relationships have shifted. Some plans have not unfolded the way you expected. At times, the silence has been so deep that you questioned whether I was still listening. But I have brought you here today because I want you to hear my voice above every fear and every doubt. What you are experiencing is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something far greater than you can imagine. My beloved child, I am starting something big in your life, even if your eyes cannot see it yet. The world often believes that great things begin with loud celebrations and immediate success. But my greatest works usually begin in quiet places where only faith can recognize them. Before the sunrise breaks across the horizon, there is still darkness. Before a mighty tree reaches toward the heavens, its roots grow unseen beneath the ground. In the same way, I have been working in places that no one else can see, including the deepest places of your heart. You have asked me questions that you never spoke aloud. You have wondered why the answers seemed delayed. You have carried burdens that others never noticed. You have smiled while hiding tears, hoping that someday your waiting would make sense. My child, I have seen every silent prayer. I have counted every tear. I have never once looked away from you. Even when you felt forgotten, my hands were carefully arranging moments that would one day reveal my goodness. Do not mistake my silence for my absence. I have been closer than your next breath. While you were worrying about tomorrow, I was already preparing it. While you were grieving what was lost, I was making room for something better. While you thought nothing was changing, I was setting every piece into its perfect place. My timing has never failed, and it will not fail you now. There are seasons when I allow you to walk by faith instead of by sight because faith opens your heart to receive blessings that fear could never understand. If I showed you everything at once, you would rely on what you could see instead of trusting my faithful heart. But today I am gently pulling back the curtain just enough for you to know this truth. The story is changing. The chapter of endless disappointment is not the final chapter I have written for you. The season of feeling overlooked is not your permanent home. I am breathing fresh hope into dreams that seemed forgotten. I am awakening strength that hath been hidden beneath your weariness. I am opening paths that no human hand could create. Every delay, every lesson, every unexpected turn hath been preparing you for what is coming next. So listen closely, my beloved child. Do not allow fear to convince you that nothing is happening. Do not let discouragement steal your expectation. Lift your heart and fix your eyes on me, because I am already moving. What seems impossible today will soon become a testimony of my faithfulness. I am not merely changing a few details of your life. I am starting something big, something that will reveal my love, my wisdom, and my perfect purpose in ways you have never experienced before. This is only the beginning. My beloved child, while you have been trying to understand what has been happening around you, I have been working in ways that your natural eyes could never fully recognize. There has never been a single day when I stepped away from your life. There has never been a moment when my attention drifted from you. Even in the hours when you felt alone, when your prayers seemed to rise into silence, my hands were actively shaping a future filled with purpose. What you could not see was never evidence that I was absent. It was simply evidence that I was working beyond the limits of your understanding. Think of a master builder who begins with a strong foundation before anyone admires the beauty of the house. Those who pass by may see only piles of stone, deep trenches, and unfinished work. They may wonder if anything meaningful will ever stand there. Yet the builder is not discouraged because he already knows the finished design. In the same way, I have never lost sight of the beautiful work I am creating in your life. While others only see delays, I see preparation. While you see unanswered questions, I see every answer arriving at exactly the right time. My beloved child, there were blessings I did not allow to reach you because they would have arrived before your heart was ready to receive them. There were opportunities I gently held back because they would have distracted you from the greater purpose I had prepared. There were relationships I allowed to end because they could not follow you into the place where I am leading you. What felt like loss was often protection. What felt like disappointment was sometimes my mercy guiding you away from paths that would have stolen your peace. I know it is not always easy to trust what you cannot see. The human heart naturally wants proof before believing. It wants certainty before taking another step. Yet faith grows strongest when it learns to rest in my character rather than in changing circumstances. I have never asked you to understand everything. I have only asked you to trust the one who understands everything. Remember the seed that disappears beneath the soil. To anyone looking from above, it seems as though nothing is happening. Days pass. Rain falls. The ground remains still. Yet beneath that quiet surface, life is unfolding. The shell is breaking. Roots are reaching deeper. Strength is developing where no one can applaud it. Then, at the appointed time, the first green shoot rises into the light. People celebrate the moment they can finally see, but the greatest work happened long before it became visible. My beloved child, you are living through one of those hidden seasons. Your roots have been growing deeper. Your faith has been stretching farther. Your compassion has become richer because of your own pain. Your wisdom has increased through every challenge you faced. You may have wished for a quicker journey, but I was preparing you for something that requires a stronger foundation. The greater the calling, the deeper the preparation must be. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. I have written a unique story for every one of my children. Some flowers bloom early in the spring, while others reveal their beauty in another season. Neither is forgotten. Neither is less valuable. Each one blossoms according to the purpose I placed within it. In the same way, your timeline has not been delayed by accident. It has been guided by my perfect wisdom. There were conversations you never knew I interrupted. There were dangers you never saw because I quietly turned them away. There were moments when your heart wanted to chase after something that would not have brought lasting joy, and I lovingly redirected your steps. You may never know how many times my unseen hand protected you from sorrow you were never meant to carry. One day, you will look back and realize that what appeared to be unanswered prayers were often my greatest acts of love. So release the pressure to figure everything out. Lay down the burden of believing you must have every answer before moving forward. I am not asking you to carry tomorrow. I am asking you to walk with me today. One faithful step is enough. One prayer whispered with sincerity is enough. One moment of choosing hope over despair is enough, because I will meet you in every step you take toward me. My beloved child, something is already shifting. The pieces that once seemed scattered are slowly coming together according to my perfect design. The prayers you thought were forgotten are still alive before me. The dreams you believed had faded are not beyond my power to restore. I have been working while you could not see, and soon you will begin to recognize the fingerprints of my faithfulness all around you. When the day comes, you will understand that I was never late, never distant, and never uncertain. I was preparing something far greater than you could have imagined, and this beautiful beginning is unfolding exactly as I planned. My beloved child, I know there were days when the waiting felt heavier than you could explain. You watched time move forward, while your prayers seemed to remain in the same place. You celebrated the victories of others while quietly wondering when your own season would arrive. There were moments when disappointment whispered to your heart that perhaps you had done something wrong, that perhaps I had forgotten you, or that perhaps my promises were meant for someone else. But I want you to hear me clearly today. Your waiting was never a punishment. It was never a sign that I had turned away from you. It was never proof that my love for you had grown weaker. It was a sacred season of preparation, even when it felt like nothing was changing. A loving father does not hand his child every responsibility before the child is ready to carry it. Not because he wants to withhold good things, but because he wants to protect what he loves. In the same way, I have never delayed your blessings to cause you pain. I have always moved with wisdom, seeing the beginning and the end at the same time. I know what is waiting ahead of you, and I also know who you must become to walk through those doors with peace, humility, and strength. There are lessons that can only be learned in quiet places. Yours a kind of trust that only grows when you continue to believe without seeing immediate results. If every prayer were answered the moment you spoke it, you might begin to trust the gift more than the giver. But through the waiting, your heart has learned to seek my presence above everything else. That is a treasure that no disappointment can ever steal from you. Think about a potter shaping clay upon a wheel. The clay cannot always understand why it is being pressed, turned, or reshaped. If it could speak, it might ask why the process feels so uncomfortable. Yet every gentle touch has purpose. Every movement creates something more beautiful than before. My beloved child, I have been shaping your character with that same loving care. I have been removing fear that would have held you back. I have been teaching patience where frustration once lived. I have been growing compassion in places where pain once hardened your heart. None of this has been wasted. You may remember opportunities that disappeared just when you thought they were finally within reach. You may remember prayers that seemed to receive no answer. You may remember people who walked away, leaving you with questions that still echo in your mind. Those moments were not proof of my absence. They became part of the story I was writing with greater wisdom than you could see. Sometimes I close a door because I know the room behind it cannot hold the future I have prepared for you. Sometimes I allow an ending because it is making space for a beginning that will bring deeper peace. Do not allow regret to rewrite your memories. The enemy would like you to believe that every delay was failure and every setback was defeat. But I see those same moments differently. I see courage every time you chose to keep praying after disappointment. I see faith every time you stood up again after falling. I see quiet victories that no one else noticed, victories that have strengthened your soul more than public success ever could. My beloved child, even when you felt as though you were standing still, you were not the same person you had been before. You became wiser. You became gentler. You learned to recognize my voice more clearly. You discovered that your hope could survive difficult seasons because it was anchored in my unchanging love rather than in changing circumstances. Those are gifts that could only be formed through the journey you have walked. Do not despise the hidden seasons of your life. The deepest rivers flow beneath the surface before they emerge into the light. The strongest roots grow in darkness before they support branches reaching toward the sky. In the same way, the work I have been doing within you is becoming the foundation for everything I am about to build through you. What I place in your hands next will not rest upon fragile emotions or temporary excitement. It will rest upon a heart that has learned to trust me through every season. So release every accusation you have spoken against yourself. Let go of the belief that you somehow missed my plan beyond recovery. My purpose for your life has not been destroyed by your delays, your fears, or your mistakes. My grace has been walking beside you every step of the way, gently leading you back whenever you wandered, and faithfully holding you whenever you grew weary. Lift your eyes, my beloved child. The waiting has not been empty. Every tear, every prayer, every quiet moment of faith has been woven into something beautiful. Soon you will begin to see why I asked you to trust me when the path was unclear. And when you look back, you will not call this season a punishment. You will call it the place where your heart learned to rest securely in my love, preparing you for the wonderful things I am now bringing into your life. My beloved child, I want you to lift your eyes beyond what is standing in front of you today, because what you can see is only a small part of what I am doing. You have looked at closed doors and assumed they were the final answer. You have stood before opportunities that disappeared and wondered if your future had disappeared with them. You have watched plans unravel, invitations fade, and dreams pause, and you questioned whether there would ever be another chance. But hear my voice clearly. A closed door is not always a sign of rejection. Many times, it is my loving hand protecting you from walking into something that could never fulfill the purpose I created for you. There are doors that people can open with their influence, their wealth, or their position. Those doors may appear impressive, but they are limited by human strength. Then there are doors that only I can open. No person can force them open before their appointed time, and no person can shut them once I have declared that it is time. These are the doors I have been preparing for you. They are not built upon temporary favor. They are established upon my eternal wisdom, and they will lead you into places where my purpose can flourish in your life. My beloved child, do not mourn every opportunity you lost. Some of those opportunities were never truly yours. They only seemed attractive because you could not yet see what I had planned instead. If I had allowed you to walk through every door you desired, you might have missed the one that was perfectly designed for you. Sometimes my greatest act of love is not giving you what you asked for, but protecting you from what would have distracted you from your true calling. Imagine a traveler standing before two roads. One is wide, smooth, and filled with excitement. The other is quieter, less noticeable, and requires patience. The traveler naturally feels drawn toward the easier path, yet only the second road leads safely to the beautiful destination waiting beyond the hills. My beloved child, there have been moments when I gently guided your steps away from the road you preferred because I could already see what lay ahead. You saw only the beginning of the journey. I saw the destination. I know it was painful when certain plans fell apart. I know you invested hope, time, and prayer into things that never happened. I know there were nights when you replayed every decision, wondering if you had somehow caused the outcome. Release those heavy thoughts into my hands. Do not spend your strength trying to reopen doors that I have lovingly closed. Your future is not hiding behind yesterday's disappointments. It is waiting ahead, where I am already preparing the way. Even now, while you are listening to my voice, I am arranging circumstances that you cannot yet recognize. I am touching hearts you have never met. I am aligning conversations that will happen at the right moment. I am placing opportunities along your path that are greater than anything you could create through your own effort. You may believe you are standing still, but heaven is moving with perfect purpose on your behalf. Do not allow fear to convince you that there will never be another opportunity. Fear always speaks with the language of scarcity, telling you that if one chance disappears, everything is lost. But I am the creator of endless possibilities. I do not run out of ways to bless my children. When one season ends, I already hold the beginning of another. When one chapter closes, I have already written the next page with greater hope than the one before. My beloved child, I am asking you to loosen your grip on what you expected so that you can receive what I have prepared. Sometimes your hands are so tightly holding on to old dreams that they cannot receive the new gifts I am extending toward you. Trust me enough to release what is behind you. Trust me enough to believe that my plans are larger than your imagination and kinder than your greatest hopes. As I open new doors, you will notice something different about them. They will not require you to abandon your peace in order to walk through them. They will not demand that you compromise your integrity or ignore the values I have placed within your heart. The opportunities I provide will draw you closer to me, not farther away. They will strengthen your faith instead of weakening it. They will become places where your gifts can grow, your compassion can deepen, and your life can become a light to others. So stand with confidence, my beloved child. Stop staring at the doors that remain closed and begin looking toward me. I hold the keys to places you have not yet imagined. I know the exact moment when each door should open, and I know exactly when you will be ready to walk through it. No delay can cancel what I have spoken over your life. No obstacle can overpower my purpose. The path before you is already being prepared, and when I open the next door, you will step through it with confidence, knowing that it was my hand that made the way. My beloved child, before I place greater blessings into your hands, I desire to bring deeper healing into your heart. I know there are wounds you have carried that few people have ever noticed. Some were caused by harsh words that echoed in your mind long after they were spoken. Some came from broken promises that left you questioning whether trust was ever safe again. Some were born from disappointments you never expected, moments that changed the way you looked at yourself and at the future. Though others may have moved on, I know those memories still visit you from time to time. I have never ignored your pain, and I have never expected you to carry it alone. Many people can see the smile on your face, but I can also see the places where your heart still aches. I know about the silent battles you fight when no one else is watching. I know the thoughts you never say aloud because you fear they will not be understood. I know the tears that fell in the quiet of the night, when you wondered if anyone truly saw what you were going through. My beloved child, I was there for every one of those moments. I collected every tear with compassion. I stayed beside you even when you could not feel my presence. Healing is not always loud. It is not always instant. Often it begins like the first light of dawn, slowly pushing back the darkness until the whole sky is filled with brightness. In the same way, I have been restoring your heart little by little. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, healing was growing. Every time you whispered another prayer after disappointment, healing was growing. Every time you decided to hope again after heartbreak, healing was quietly taking root within you. Think about a skilled gardener caring for a tree that has been damaged by a fierce storm. He does not simply admire the broken branches and walk away. He carefully removes what is dead, supports what is weak, nourishes the roots, and patiently waits for new growth to appear. For a while, the tree may not look impressive. It may even seem as though nothing is improving. Yet beneath the surface, life is returning. Strength is being restored. In time, new branches stretch toward the sky, and fresh fruit begins to grow where brokenness once remained. My beloved child, that is what I have been doing within you. I have not been focused on your scars. I have been focused on your restoration. I have not been counting your failures. I have been nurturing your future. The painful chapters of your life do not define the story I am writing. They are only pages, not the ending. My love is greater than every hurt you have experienced, and my grace is stronger than every wound that tried to convince you that you would never be whole again. Do not believe the voice that tells you healing is impossible. That voice does not come from me. I am the one who brings beauty from ashes, hope from despair, and peace from confusion. I can restore what fear tried to steal. I can renew confidence where rejection left insecurity. I can replace anxiety with quiet trust and loneliness with the assurance that you are deeply loved. There is no wound so deep that my compassion cannot reach it. There may be moments when old memories return, trying to remind you of yesterday's pain. When that happens, do not allow those memories to become your identity. A scar may remind you that an injury once existed, but it also declares that healing has taken place. In the same way, your past is no longer your master. It is simply a testimony of how faithfully I carried you through what you thought would destroy you. As I prepare to do something greater in your life, I do not want you walking into your new season with chains from the old one still wrapped around your heart. I want you to enter with freedom. I want you to receive my blessings without the fear that they will disappear. I want you to love without being ruled by yesterday's betrayals. I want you to dream without being imprisoned by past disappointments. That is why I have been healing you, even when you did not realize the work was taking place. So bring every hidden wound into my presence. Do not hide your pain from the one who already knows it completely. You never have to pretend to be stronger than you are when you come to me. I welcome your honesty because I desire your wholeness. Let my peace settle over every anxious thought. Let my love wash over every painful memory. Let my truth silence every lie that has tried to define your worth. My beloved child, you are not broken beyond repair. You are being restored by hands that never fail. The healing I have begun within you is preparing you for the beautiful future that lies ahead. Your heart will not remain trapped in yesterday's sorrow. It will become a place where joy can grow again, where hope can rise again, and where my love will shine so brightly that others will one day find comfort through the story of how I faithfully healed you. My beloved child, there is something I need you to release today. I need you to stop measuring your future by the mistakes of your past. Too often you have looked behind you and allowed yesterday's failures to become the lens through which you view tomorrow. You have remembered the opportunities that slipped away, the words you wish you had never spoken, the decisions you would gladly change if you could return to those moments. I know those memories have weighed heavily upon your heart, but I did not create you to live chained to what has already passed. I created you to walk forward in the freedom of my love. You may believe that your past has written the final chapter of your story, but I am the author of your life, and I am still writing. A single page does not define the entire book. A difficult season does not determine your destiny. Even the chapters filled with sorrow, failure, and regret can become part of a greater testimony when they are placed into my hands. I have always had the power to bring beauty from broken places, and I have not lost that power today. Think of an artist standing before a canvas. There are moments when a dark color seems to cover everything. To someone watching from a distance, it may appear that the painting has been ruined, but the artist is not finished. With wisdom and patience, every shade is blended into something meaningful. What once looked like a mistake becomes part of the masterpiece. My beloved child, I see your life the way that artist sees the unfinished painting. You see isolated moments. I see the completed work. I know exactly how every experience can serve a purpose that is greater than you understand today. There were times when you stumbled because you were trying to find your way. There were moments when fear spoke louder than faith, and you made choices that left you disappointed. Yet even then, my love did not abandon you. I was beside you, gently calling you back, patiently teaching you, faithfully reminding you that my grace is greater than your failures. I have never defined you by your weakest moments. I have always seen the person I created you to become. Do not allow shame to speak with authority over your life. Shame tells you that because you failed, you are a failure. That is not my voice. My voice calls you loved, chosen, and deeply valued. My voice reminds you that your identity is not built upon your past performance, but upon my unchanging love. What you have done is not the same as who you are. You are my beloved child, and nothing can erase the value I have placed within you. There are people who may still remember the old version of you. They may expect you to remain the same because they only know your history. But I know your future. I know the transformation that has been taking place within your heart. I know the lessons you have learned through tears, the wisdom you have gained through waiting, and the strength you have developed through perseverance. You do not have to live according to someone else's expectations when I am calling you into something new. Imagine a river flowing through a valley. Along its journey, it passes fallen branches, scattered stones, and places where the water seems to slow. Yet the river never turns around to gather what has already been left behind. It continues moving toward the sea, carrying fresh water with every passing moment. My beloved child, I want your heart to become like that river. Do not keep returning to the places where regret once held you captive. Keep flowing toward the future I have prepared. Leave behind what no longer belongs in this season of your life. Forgive yourself where you have already received my forgiveness. Stop reopening wounds that I have already begun to heal. Every time you choose to believe my truth instead of your regret, another chain falls away. Every time you accept my mercy, your heart becomes lighter. Every time you trust that I can redeem what seemed beyond repair, hope rises within you again. The future I have prepared does not require a perfect past. It requires a willing heart. I can work through those who have been broken because they understand compassion. I can use those who have failed because they know the power of grace. I can strengthen those who have been weak because they have learned to depend upon me instead of themselves. Your greatest weakness can become the very place where my strength shines most clearly. So lift your head, my beloved child. The weight of yesterday does not belong on your shoulders anymore. Walk away from the prison of regret and step into the freedom I am offering you. I am not calling you back to relive your failures. I am calling you forward into a new beginning. The person you were is not the person you are becoming. I am renewing your mind, restoring your confidence, and reminding you that my purpose for your life is still alive. Your past may explain part of your journey, but it will never decide your destination. I have spoken hope over your future, and what I have declared, no fear, no mistake, and no regret will ever be able to overturn. My beloved child, as I prepare you for the greater things I have promised, I want you to understand that every season of preparation has a purpose. You have often asked me why the road has been longer than you expected, why the lessons have been so demanding, and why the challenges seem to increase just when you thought you were moving closer to your breakthrough. But I tell you now, I have not been delaying your future. I have been strengthening you to carry it. The blessings I have prepared for you are not small, and the life I am calling you into requires a heart that has been shaped by wisdom, humility, and unwavering trust. Many people desire promotion, but few desire preparation. They long for the mountain without embracing the climb. They celebrate the harvest without understanding the seasons of planting, watering, and waiting. Yet I do not build lives that collapse under pressure. I build lives that stand firm when the winds rise. That is why I have been patiently strengthening you from the inside out. I have been developing qualities that cannot be purchased, borrowed, or rushed. They are formed through walking with me day after day, even when the path feels uncertain. Imagine a blacksmith standing before a glowing fire with a piece of iron in his hands. He does not place the metal into the flames because he wishes to destroy it. He places it there because he sees what it can become. Again and again, he heats it, shapes it, and refines it until it becomes strong enough to fulfill its purpose. If the iron could speak, it might ask why the process feels so intense. But the blacksmith knows that without the fire, there can be no strength. My beloved child, there have been moments when your circumstances felt like that refining fire. You wondered why certain trials seemed to linger. You questioned why life demanded so much endurance from you. Yet through every challenge, I have been removing fear that would have weakened your resolve. I have been replacing pride with humility, impatience with perseverance, and self-reliance with deeper dependence upon me. What felt like pressure was often my loving hand preparing you for responsibilities that require a stronger spirit. Do not think that your struggles have made you less capable. They have made you more prepared. Every obstacle you have overcome has taught you something valuable. Every disappointment has deepened your compassion for others who are hurting. Every unanswered question has reminded you that true peace is found not in having every answer but in trusting my heart. These lessons are treasures that will serve you long after this season has passed. There will come a day when someone looks at your life and admires the strength they see in you. They may wonder how you remain peaceful during uncertainty or hopeful in difficult moments. They will not realize that your strength was not created overnight. It was formed through countless quiet decisions to trust me when trusting was not easy. It was built through prayers whispered in the darkness, through tears that no one else witnessed, and through faith that refused to give up even when the outcome remained unseen. My beloved child, I am preparing you not only to receive blessings, but also to become a blessing. The strength I am building within you is not meant to serve only your own journey. It will become a source of encouragement for others. There are people you have not yet met who will one day find hope because of the testimony I am writing through your life. They will see that my faithfulness carried you through impossible seasons, and they will discover the courage to trust me with their own. Do not compare your preparation with someone else's progress. Every calling requires a different kind of training. A mighty oak does not grow at the same pace as a field of wildflowers, yet both fulfill their purpose beautifully. The depth of your preparation reflects the depth of what I have entrusted to you. Never mistake a longer season of growth for a lesser purpose. Sometimes the greatest assignments require the greatest foundations. I know there were times when you wanted me to remove every obstacle immediately. But if I had taken away every challenge, you might never have discovered the strength I placed within you. You would not know how resilient your faith could become. You would not have learned that my grace is sufficient even when your own strength feels exhausted. Now, because you have walked through those valleys with me, you carry a confidence that circumstances cannot easily shake. As you move forward, do not fear greater responsibility. Do not shrink back when new opportunities appear before you. The same hands that have been shaping you are the hands that will continue to sustain you. I will never call you into something without also providing the wisdom, courage, and grace you need to fulfill it. You do not have to rely solely upon your own abilities, because my strength will continue to work within you every step of the way. So stand tall, my beloved child, not because you believe in your own power, but because you believe in mine. Every season of refinement has been preparing you for this moment. Every lesson has added another layer of strength to your spirit. Every trial has been transforming you into the person I always knew you could become. You are stronger than you realize, wiser than you once were, and closer to your new beginning than ever before. I am preparing you for greater responsibilities, and because I am the one leading you, you can walk forward with confidence, knowing that I will faithfully complete the good work I have begun within you. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when fear has tried to become louder than my promises. It has whispered that you are not ready, that the future is too uncertain, that the obstacles before you are too great, and that your past will always be stronger than your hope. Fear has a way of presenting itself as wisdom, convincing you that it is protecting you when, in truth, it is only trying to keep you from stepping into the life I have prepared for you. But today I want you to recognize its voice for what it truly is. Fear is not your guide. I am. When I look at you, I do not see someone who is destined to be ruled by anxiety or held captive by doubt. I see my beloved child, created with purpose, filled with potential, and surrounded by my constant presence. I have never called you to walk this journey alone. If I were asking you to rely only on your own strength, then fear might seem reasonable. But I am asking you to trust my strength, not yours. The path ahead does not depend solely on your ability. It depends on my faithfulness, and my faithfulness has never failed. Think about a small child learning to walk while holding a loving father's hand. The child may look at the distance ahead and feel uncertain. Each step may seem unsteady and the ground may appear unfamiliar. Yet the child keeps moving, not because every fear has disappeared, but because the Father's hand never lets go. My beloved child, that is how I walk with you. I do not stand at the finish line simply waiting for you to arrive. I walk beside you through every step, every question, every challenge, and every victory. You are never beyond the reach of my hand. Fear always wants you to focus on what could go wrong. It fills your mind with endless questions that have no answers yet. It paints pictures of failure before you have even begun. It tells you to stay where everything feels familiar because familiar places seem safer than unknown ones. But remaining where you are simply because it feels comfortable is not always the safest choice. Sometimes the greatest danger is refusing to move when I am calling you forward. There was a bird once resting in the safety of its nest. The nest had sheltered it from storms, protected it from danger, and provided everything it needed while it was growing. But there came a day when the nest could no longer be its home. If the bird refused to spread its wings because it feared falling, it would never discover the joy of flying through the open sky. The very place that once protected it would eventually limit it. My beloved child, there are seasons in life when I lovingly invite you to leave behind what has become too small for the future I have prepared. Do not misunderstand courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to trust me even when fear is trying to speak. Every time you take a step of faith, you declare that my promises are greater than your doubts. Every time you pray instead of surrendering to worry, you remind your heart that I am still in control. Every time you move forward despite uncertainty, you allow my strength to shine through your weakness. I know there are dreams within your heart that seem too large to pursue. I know there are prayers you hesitate to pray because you are afraid of being disappointed again. I know there are opportunities standing before you that make you wonder whether you are truly capable. Listen carefully, my beloved child. I have never chosen you because you were already strong enough. I chose you because I knew what my power could accomplish through a willing heart. Your limitations do not limit me. Your weakness is not an obstacle to my strength. In fact, it often becomes the very place where my glory is most clearly revealed. Whenever fear begins to rise, return your thoughts to my presence instead of your problems. Do not feed your worries with endless attention. Feed your faith by remembering my goodness. Remember the times I carried you through difficulties you never thought you would survive. Remember the doors I opened when every other path seemed closed. Remember the peace I gave you in seasons when nothing around you made sense. The same God who was faithful yesterday remains faithful today and will remain faithful tomorrow. My beloved child, the future I am leading you toward is not built upon fear but upon trust. I am not asking you to know every detail before you take the next step. I am asking you to believe that the one who knows every detail is walking beside you. When fear tells you to stop, listen instead for my gentle voice calling you forward. When doubt says you cannot, remember that I have already declared that nothing is impossible for me. So lift your head and steady your heart. Do not surrender your future to fears that have no authority over your life. They may knock at the door of your mind, but you do not have to invite them inside. Choose instead to welcome my peace, my truth, and my unwavering love. I am leading you into something greater than you can currently imagine, and fear will not stop what I have planned. As long as you keep your hand in mine, you will discover that every step of faith brings you closer to the beautiful future I have already begun preparing for you. My beloved child, I know there are times when you look at where you are today and wonder how something truly significant could ever grow from such a small beginning. You have prayed for great change, yet what you see seems ordinary. You have hoped for remarkable breakthroughs, yet the progress appears slow. There are days when your efforts seem unnoticed, your prayers seem quiet, and your steps seem too small to matter. But I want you to see your journey through my eyes instead of your own. I do not measure greatness the way the world measures it. I see the potential hidden within what appears small, and I delight in bringing extraordinary miracles from humble beginnings. The world often celebrates what is already impressive. It applauds the finished work, the visible success, and the grand achievement. But I find joy in the unseen moments that come before the celebration. I see the quiet act of obedience that no one else notices. I see the prayer whispered through tears. I see the decision to keep believing after disappointment. Those moments may seem insignificant to others, but they are precious to me because they reveal a heart that continues to trust even before the miracle becomes visible. Think about a tiny stream flowing gently through the countryside. At its source, it seems almost too small to make a difference. Someone might step across it without giving it a second thought. Yet as it continues its journey, other streams join it. It grows stronger, deeper, and wider until it becomes a mighty river capable of bringing life wherever it flows. My beloved child, that is how many of my blessings unfold. They begin quietly, almost unnoticed, but they continue to grow because my hand is guiding them every step of the way. Do not despise the season of small beginnings. Every great story has a first chapter. Every towering tree was once a seed resting silently beneath the soil. Every beautiful melody began with a single note. Every sunrise begins with the faintest light touching the horizon before the whole sky is filled with brilliance. In the same way, the work I have begun in your life may seem small today, but it carries within it the promise of something far greater than you can currently imagine. There have been moments when you questioned whether your daily faithfulness mattered. You wondered if your simple acts of kindness, your quiet prayers, your patient endurance, and your steady trust could truly make a difference. Hear me clearly, my beloved child. Nothing done with love and faith is ever wasted. Every faithful step you take is building something stronger than you can yet see. Every choice to forgive instead of holding on to bitterness is shaping your future. Every moment you choose hope over despair is preparing your heart for the blessings ahead. Do not compare your beginning with someone else's middle. You are seeing only a small part of another person's journey while standing at the opening of your own. Comparison steals gratitude and blinds you to the beautiful work I am already doing within you. I have given each of my children a unique path, a unique purpose, and a unique timing. Your story does not need to look like anyone else's to be filled with my glory. Sometimes I begin with small things because I want your confidence to rest in me rather than in outward appearances. If everything happened instantly, you might believe it was accomplished through your own strength. But when you watch me multiply what seemed too little, your heart learns that I am the source of every good gift. You discover that my power is not limited by what you currently possess. I can take a small opportunity and turn it into a lifelong blessing. I can use one conversation to change the direction of your future. I can transform one simple act of obedience into a testimony that encourages countless others. My beloved child, do not overlook the blessings that are already present in your life because they seem ordinary. The peace you have begun to feel, the wisdom you have gained, the strength you have developed, and the hope that has quietly returned to your heart are all signs that my work has already begun. These are not insignificant changes. They are the foundation upon which greater miracles will stand. Keep watering the seeds I have placed in your hands. Continue praying even when the answers seem delayed. Continue loving even when it is not always returned. Continue serving with humility. Continue speaking with kindness, and continue trusting my promises when circumstances try to tell a different story. Every faithful act becomes part of the harvest I am preparing. My beloved child, never underestimate what I can accomplish through a willing heart that refuses to give up. What appears small today is not destined to remain small forever. I am the God who delights in surprising my children with blessings beyond their expectations. I am nurturing the seeds of purpose, healing, and hope that I have planted within you. In the right season, they will rise with strength, bear lasting fruit, and reveal that what seemed like a humble beginning was actually the first beautiful chapter of something far greater than you ever dreamed possible. My beloved child, I want you to notice something that your eyes may have overlooked. The season around you is beginning to change. You may not yet see every answer you have prayed for, but you can sense that something is different. The burdens that once felt impossible to carry no longer have the same hold over your heart. The fears that once shouted are becoming quieter. The hope you thought had disappeared is beginning to rise again. These are not accidents. They are signs that I have been preparing you for a new season. Every season has its purpose. There is a season for planting, a season for waiting, a season for growing, and a season for harvesting. The mistake many people make is believing that the waiting season will last forever. But I did not design your life to remain in one place. Just as winter gives way to spring and night gives way to morning, I bring change according to my perfect timing. What once seemed frozen will bloom again. What once appeared silent will begin to sing with new life. My beloved child, do not cling to the pain of the season that is ending. I know there were valuable lessons hidden within it. I know it shaped your faith, strengthened your patience, and deepened your dependence upon me. But you cannot fully embrace the new while holding tightly to what I have already asked you to release. The door behind you has served its purpose. Now I am inviting you to walk toward the one I am opening before you. There are moments when the sunrise begins so gently that those who are not paying attention almost miss it. The darkness does not disappear all at once. Instead, light slowly spreads across the horizon until everything is transformed. That is how many of my greatest works unfold. The change begins quietly. Your heart becomes lighter. Your prayers become filled with expectation instead of despair. Your spirit senses my peace before your circumstances have fully changed. Then, little by little, what has been happening inside of you begins to appear around you. Do not become discouraged if every promise has not yet arrived. A farmer does not dig up the seed each morning to check whether it is growing. He trusts the process because he knows life is developing beneath the surface. In the same way, continue trusting me even when you cannot yet measure your progress. I am faithful to complete what I have begun. The very things you have prayed over are moving according to my perfect plan. My beloved child, I am also asking you to stay awake in your spirit. Do not allow disappointment from yesterday to keep you from recognizing the opportunities I am placing before you today. Sometimes my answers arrive in ways you did not expect. Sometimes the blessing enters your life quietly before it becomes obvious. Keep your heart open. Keep your faith alive. Keep listening for my voice. I will guide your steps as each new opportunity appears. You have spent enough time believing that nothing would ever change. Now I want you to expect my goodness, expect my guidance, expect my peace, expect my favor. This is not because life will suddenly become free from every challenge, but because you will no longer face those challenges alone or without purpose. I am walking before you, making a way where you once saw only obstacles. As this new season begins, remember that the greatest transformation often starts within your heart before it becomes visible in your circumstances. Continue choosing faith over fear. Continue choosing gratitude over complaint. Continue choosing hope over discouragement. Every one of those choices aligns your heart with the work I am already doing. You are not standing at the end of your journey. You are standing at the threshold of something new, something beautiful, something prepared by my loving hands long before you knew it was coming. Before we continue, my beloved child, hear my heart. If these words have become living water for your soul, then let that same river continue flowing into the lives of others who are still searching for hope. I say to you, give and it will be given to you, not as a distant promise, but as my living invitation for this very moment. If you feel my spirit stirring within you, respond with faith through a super thanks, by becoming a channel member, or by using the PayPal donation link waiting in the video description and shown through the QR code in this video. Every seed you sow helps carry my message into hearts that are weary, forgotten, and longing to know my love. Do not see your gift as a donation. See it as planting seed into a harvest of transformed lives. What you place into my work today will become light in someone's darkness tomorrow. I will remember every willing heart that gives with love, and I will breathe fresh peace, provision, and strength into those who faithfully sow. Do not delay the prompting I have placed within your spirit. Let your generosity become an act of worship and a declaration that my kingdom will continue reaching those who need my voice. Rise now and sow your seed with joy, for I will multiply its impact far beyond what your eyes can see. My beloved child, there are things you believed were lost forever. There were moments when you looked back and felt the ache of what had slipped through your hands. You mourned opportunities that never returned, relationships that came to an end, peace that seemed to disappear, confidence that slowly faded, and dreams that once burned brightly but now felt like distant memories. I know every loss you have carried. I know every silent question you asked when life did not unfold as you expected. But today I want you to hear a truth that will breathe fresh hope into your heart. I am the God of restoration, and what I restore is never merely a copy of what was lost. I restore with wisdom, purpose, and a beauty that reflects my perfect love. When you look at a field after a long season of drought, it may appear lifeless. The ground seems cracked, the plants seem withered, and there appears to be no sign of hope. Yet the farmer who understands the seasons does not abandon the field. He prepares the soil, waits for the rain, and knows that life can return where others see only emptiness. My beloved child, I have never abandoned the fields of your heart. Even in the seasons that felt dry and empty, I was preparing the ground for new life. Do not believe the lie that because something ended, your future has become smaller. Some endings are not signs of defeat. They are invitations to begin again with greater wisdom. There are chapters I allowed to close because they could not contain the future I had written for you. If I had preserved everything from your past, there would have been no room for the greater blessings I was preparing to place in your hands. You may have lost confidence because of disappointment, but I am restoring your courage. You may have lost peace because of uncertainty, but I am restoring your calm. You may have lost joy through seasons of grief, but I am restoring gladness that does not depend upon changing circumstances. You may have lost trust because someone broke their promises, but I am teaching your heart to rest securely in my faithfulness, which never fails. Think of an old vineyard that has endured years of neglect. To an untrained eye, it appears beyond saving. The branches are tangled, the fruit has disappeared, and the beauty of the vineyard seems forgotten. Yet a patient gardener begins pruning, watering, and caring for every vine. Slowly, life returns. Fresh leaves appear. Strong branches grow. In time, the vineyard produces fruit once again. My beloved child, that is how I work in your life. I do not discard what has been wounded. I lovingly restore it, removing what no longer serves you, and strengthening what remains until new life begins to flourish. Sometimes my restoration does not look exactly like your expectation, because my plans are always greater than your imagination. You may ask me to return what was lost, while I am preparing to give you something even better. You may hold tightly to an old dream, while I am inviting you into a new purpose that will bring deeper fulfillment. Trust that I know the difference between what you miss and what you truly need. My wisdom is never limited by what you can currently see. My beloved child, I also want to restore the way you see yourself. Too often you have defined your worth by what you accomplished, by what others thought of you, or by what you lost along the way. But your value has never been determined by those things. Your worth has always been established by my love. Before you achieved anything, I loved you. Before you succeeded or failed, I called you my beloved child. Nothing that happened in your past has changed the truth of who you are in my eyes. As I restore your heart, I am also restoring your vision. You will begin to dream again without being controlled by fear. You will begin to hope again without expecting disappointment. You will begin to pray again with confidence instead of hesitation. The weight that once made every step difficult will become lighter because you will realize that I have been carrying you even when you believed you were walking alone. Do not rush the process of restoration. Just as a tree does not bear fruit the day after it is planted, healing and renewal unfold according to my perfect timing. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate the small signs of growth. Rejoice when peace returns to your heart, even before every circumstance changes. Every step forward is evidence that my work within you is continuing. My beloved child, the season ahead will reveal that nothing entrusted to my hands is ever wasted. Your tears have not been wasted. Your prayers have not been wasted. Your waiting has not been wasted. Even the painful experiences that seemed meaningless have become threads in the beautiful story I am weaving through your life. I am restoring more than what was taken from you. I am restoring your confidence, your joy, your peace, your hope, and your expectation for the future. As you continue walking with me, you will discover that my restoration is not merely about returning to where you once were. It is about leading you into a place more beautiful, more peaceful, and more fulfilling than you ever thought possible, because that is the kind of future my love has always been preparing for you. My beloved child, as I continue leading you into the new season I have prepared, there is a gift I desire to strengthen within you above all others. It is my peace. Not the kind of peace that depends upon perfect circumstances or the absence of difficulties, but the deep, steady peace that remains even when the winds begin to blow. The world often searches for peace and success, comfort, possessions or the approval of others. Yet those things can change in a single moment. The peace I give is different because it is rooted in my unchanging presence. When everything around you seems uncertain, my peace becomes the anchor that keeps your heart from drifting into fear. I know there are decisions before you that seem overwhelming. You have wondered which path to choose, which opportunity to accept, which door to walk through. and which one to leave behind. Sometimes you worry so much about making the wrong choice that you become afraid to move at all. But I never intended for fear to become the voice that guides your life. I desire for my peace to become your compass, gently directing your steps one moment at a time. Imagine a sailor crossing a vast sea. There are days when the sky is bright and the waters are calm. There are also days when clouds gather, winds rise, and the waves become restless. If the sailor allowed every wave to determine his direction, he would soon become lost. Instead, he keeps his eyes on the compass that remains steady regardless of the storm. My beloved child, my peace is like that compass. It does not change because your circumstances change. It continues pointing you toward the path I have prepared, even when everything around you feels uncertain. There will be voices that try to compete for your attention. Some will urge you to hurry. Others will tell you that you are falling behind. Still others will tempt you to compare your journey with someone else's. These voices create confusion because they are rooted in pressure rather than trust. My voice does not drive you with fear. I lead you with love. I do not rush you into panic. I invite you into wisdom. When you draw close to me, you will begin to recognize the difference. There are times when the right decision may not appear to be the easiest one. It may require patience when you want immediate answers. It may require courage when remaining comfortable seems more appealing. It may require surrender when you would rather stay in control. Yet whenever I lead you, I also provide the peace you need to take the next step. Even if the road is unfamiliar, my presence will reassure your heart that you are not walking it alone. My beloved child, do not mistake temporary excitement for lasting direction. Excitement rises and falls with emotions, but my peace remains steady. There may be opportunities that look impressive on the outside but leave your spirit restless. There may also be quiet paths that seem ordinary to others yet fill your heart with calm assurance. Learn to value the gentle witness of my peace more than the loud applause of the world. What comes from me will never require you to abandon the peace I have placed within your soul. When anxious thoughts begin to multiply, do not entertain every one of them. Bring them to me instead. You do not have to carry every question until you solve it. You do not have to imagine every possible outcome before you take one faithful step. Place your concerns into my hands, and allow my peace to settle over your heart like a gentle rain refreshing dry ground. The more you trust me with what you cannot control, the more room there is for my peace to grow within you. Remember how many times I have already guided you. There were crossroads where you thought you would never know what to do, yet I faithfully led you through them. There were moments when the future seemed hidden, yet step by step, I revealed exactly what you needed when you needed it. I have not changed. The same loving Father who guided you yesterday will continue guiding you tomorrow. You are not expected to carry the map for your entire journey. You are simply invited to walk with the one who already knows every turn along the way. My beloved child, as you enter this new season, let my peace become louder than your worries. Let it quiet the fears that try to steal your joy. Let it calm the questions that have kept you awake at night. Let it remind you that your future does not rest upon your perfect understanding, but upon my perfect faithfulness. When you begin each day with your heart turned toward me, you will discover that clarity often comes one step at a time, not all at once. So do not be troubled when every answer has not yet arrived. Continue walking in trust. Continue listening for my gentle voice. Continue choosing faith instead of fear. I will guide your decisions with wisdom, protect your heart with peace, and direct your steps according to my perfect purpose. The road ahead may still hold mysteries, but it also holds my presence, and wherever my presence leads you, there is always hope, always strength, and always the peace that surpasses every fear the world could ever place before you. My beloved child, I know there are moments when your eyes become fixed on what is happening around you. You see delays, obstacles, unanswered prayers, and situations that appear unchanged, and your heart begins to wonder if my promises are still true. The circumstances in front of you seem so real, so immediate, that they try to convince you they have the final word. But I want you to remember something that will strengthen your faith. What you see is never the complete story. There is always more happening than your natural eyes can perceive. I am working beyond the limits of what is visible, and my plans are not confined by the appearances that surround you today. The world often teaches people to believe only what they can see. It tells them that visible evidence is the only proof that something is real. But my kingdom has always operated differently. Before a flower blossoms, life is already growing within the seed. Before the dawn fills the sky with light, the morning has already begun. Before the answer appears in your hands, I have already begun moving circumstances into place. Just because your eyes cannot yet recognize my work does not mean my work has stopped. Think about a mountain hidden by thick clouds. To someone standing in the valley, it may seem as though the mountain has disappeared. They might even believe it no longer exists. Yet the mountain has not moved. It remains strong, steady, and unchanged behind the clouds. It is the clouds that are temporary, not the mountain. My beloved child, my promises are like that mountain. The clouds of uncertainty, disappointment, and fear may temporarily block your view, but they can never erase what I have spoken over your life. Do not allow appearances to become your master. Many things that seem permanent are only passing through your life for a season. The difficult situation that feels overwhelming today is not greater than my power. The delay that seems endless is not beyond my timing. The closed door that has caused you so much sorrow is not the end of your journey. I am still writing your story, and I have never allowed temporary circumstances to determine an eternal purpose. There are times when I intentionally asked you to keep walking even before everything becomes clear. If you waited until every question was answered, you would never discover the beauty of trusting me. Faith is not pretending that difficulties do not exist. Faith is choosing to believe that I am greater than every difficulty you face. It is lifting your eyes above the storm and remembering that I remain seated above every wave, every wind, and every uncertainty. My beloved child, be careful not to judge your future by your present surroundings. A traveler passing through a dark valley does not assume the valley is his final destination. He continues walking because he knows the road leads beyond it. In the same way, you are passing through seasons that were never meant to become your permanent home. The pain, confusion, and waiting you have experienced are chapters in your story, but they are not the conclusion. Keep moving with me, and you will discover landscapes of joy that you cannot yet imagine. Sometimes the greatest miracles begin quietly. They do not announce themselves with loud signs or immediate changes. They begin with a softened heart, a restored hope, a renewed strength, or a peace that quietly settles within your spirit. These are often the first signs that I am preparing something greater. Do not overlook these inner transformations simply because they are not as visible as outward blessings. What I build within you becomes the foundation for everything I will build around you. I know it can be tempting to compare your circumstances with those of others. You may see someone else's progress and wonder why your own journey seems slower. But remember, you are seeing only a small portion of another person's story. You do not know the preparation they walked through or the purpose I have designed uniquely for them. Keep your eyes on me instead of on comparisons. I know the exact path that will lead you into the fullness of your calling, and it is different because you are different. Whenever discouragement tries to fill your thoughts, pause and remember how many times appearances have been wrong before. There were seasons when you believed you would never recover, yet here you are. There were moments when you thought every door had closed, yet I faithfully opened another. There were nights when you believed hope had disappeared, yet I carried you into another morning. Let those memories remind you that what you see today is not the measure of what I am able to do tomorrow. My beloved child, lift your eyes above the circumstances that seek to define your expectations. Look instead toward my faithfulness, which has never changed. Trust my heart even when you cannot trace every detail of my plan. I am leading you with wisdom that reaches far beyond what you can currently understand. The appearances around you will continue to change, but my promises remain constant. Hold tightly to those promises, and let them become the foundation beneath your feet. The day is coming when you will look back on this season and realize that what once seemed like obstacles were actually stepping stones. What appeared to be delays were moments of preparation, and what looked impossible was simply the place where my power was waiting to be revealed. Until that day arrives, continue walking with confidence, my beloved child. Do not be deceived by appearances. Trust the one who sees the entire journey, for I am already leading you toward a future filled with hope, purpose, and blessings that are far greater than anything your eyes can presently behold. My beloved child, as I continue unfolding the beautiful work I have begun in your life, I also want you to understand that I rarely fulfill my purposes through isolation. I created you to walk with me, but I also place people along your path who will encourage you, strengthen you, challenge you, and help you grow into the person I designed you to become. There are relationships that are part of my plan for your life, just as surely as the dreams I have placed within your heart. Even now, while you may not yet recognize it, I am aligning the right people to meet you at the right time. There have been seasons when you felt deeply alone. You wondered why certain friendships faded, why people you trusted walked away, or why those you expected to stand beside you could not continue the journey with you. Those moments hurt, and I never ignored your pain. I saw every tear that was hidden behind your smile. I heard every silent question you carried within your heart. But my beloved child, not every departure was a loss. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a season. Their purpose was fulfilled, and in my wisdom, I allowed the path to separate. Do not spend your strength chasing those who have chosen to leave when I am preparing others who will gladly walk beside you. If you keep staring at the empty chair, you may fail to notice the people I am gently bringing into your life. My plans are never limited by who walked away. I have an endless supply of grace, and I know exactly how to surround you with those who will help you become stronger, wiser, and more confident in the purpose I have prepared for you. Think about a vineyard. Every vine is connected, drawing strength from the same source. Healthy branches support one another, growing together toward the sunlight. But if a branch becomes diseased, it can prevent healthy growth unless it is carefully removed. My beloved child, in the same way, there are relationships that nourish your soul and draw you closer to me. There are also relationships that quietly drain your peace, weaken your faith, and distract you from your calling. Because I love you, I sometimes remove what is unhealthy so that what is healthy can flourish. You may not always understand why certain connections end. At times, it may even feel as though I have taken something precious away from you. Yet I see what you cannot. I know the conversations that would have discouraged you, the influences that would have distracted you, and the paths that would have led you away from the destiny I have prepared. What felt like rejection was often my protection. What seemed like an ending was often my invitation to something better. My beloved child, I am also preparing you to become the kind of person others can trust. While you pray for faithful friends, I am shaping you into a faithful friend. While you ask me to bring wise voices into your life, I am filling your heart with wisdom that can bless others. While you seek encouragement, I am teaching you how to become an encourager. The relationships I bring into your life are not meant only to bless you. They are also opportunities for you to reflect my love through your words, your kindness, and your faithfulness. There are people you have not yet met whose prayers are leading them toward you just as your prayers are leading you toward them. I am arranging moments that will seem ordinary at first but will become significant as time unfolds. A simple conversation may open the door to a lifelong friendship. A brief encounter may become the beginning of a partnership that fulfills part of my purpose for your life. Do not underestimate the quiet ways in which I weave lives together according to my perfect design. As these new relationships begin to appear, guard your heart from carrying old fears into new connections. Do not assume that every person will repeat the mistakes of those who hurt you. I have been healing your heart so that you can receive genuine love without allowing yesterday's wounds to control today's opportunities. Trust me to give you discernment. I will help you recognize those who bring peace, wisdom, and encouragement into your life. Remember that not every voice deserves equal influence over your heart. Some voices speak from fear while others speak from faith. Some offer criticism without compassion, while others correct you with love and wisdom. Learn to recognize the difference. Stay close to those who inspire you to draw nearer to me, who celebrate the growth I am producing within you, and who remind you of my promises when you begin to forget them. These are gifts from my hand. My beloved child, never believe that you are forgotten or destined to walk this journey alone. I know exactly who belongs in this season of your life. I know who will strengthen your faith, who will encourage your dreams, and who will stand beside you when challenges arise. In the same way, I know who must remain behind because they cannot follow where I am leading you. Trust my wisdom in both your arrivals and the departures. Lift your heart with expectation, for I am already aligning people whose presence will bring peace instead of confusion, strength instead of weakness, and hope instead of discouragement. Together, you will encourage one another, grow together, and bear witness to my faithfulness. You do not have to force these connections or strive to create them through your own effort. Walk faithfully with me, and at the appointed time, I will bring the right people into your path. They will recognize the work I have done within you, and together you will continue moving toward the beautiful future I have prepared from the very beginning. My beloved child, I want you to pause for a moment and look back, not with regret, but with gratitude. Think about the person you were before this journey began. Remember the fears that once controlled your decisions, the worries that kept you awake at night, and the questions that seemed too heavy for your heart to carry. And now look at where you are today. You may still have questions. You may still face challenges. But you are not the same person you once were. Something precious has been growing within you through every season you have walked with me. Your faith has become stronger. Faith does not become strong because life is easy. It becomes strong because it continues to trust even when life is difficult. Every challenge you have faced has become an invitation to know me more deeply. Every delay has taught you patience. Every disappointment has reminded you that my plans are higher than your expectations. Every obstacle has become an opportunity for you to discover that my strength is greater than your weakness. You may have wished for a smoother path, but the path you have walked has been shaping your heart in ways comfort alone never could. Imagine a mighty lighthouse standing on a rocky shore. Year after year, storms crash against it. Fierce winds beat upon its walls. Towering waves strike its foundation with tremendous force. Yet when the storm passes, The lighthouse still stands, continuing to shine its light across the sea. It was not the calm days that made it strong. It was the storms that tested its foundation and proved its strength. My beloved child, your faith is becoming like that lighthouse. The trials you have endured have not destroyed you. They have established you upon a stronger foundation than ever before. There were moments when you believed your faith was failing because you felt afraid. But fear does not mean faith has disappeared. Often, faith is revealed most clearly when you choose to trust me despite your fears. Every time you prayed while your heart was trembling, your faith grew. Every time you continued walking after disappointment, your faith grew. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, hope instead of despair, and gratitude instead of complaint, your faith became stronger than it had been before. My beloved child, never underestimate the quiet victories that have taken place within your heart. The world celebrates visible success, but heaven rejoices over the transformation that happens inside you. I see the moments when you resisted giving up. I see the days when you chose kindness after being hurt. I see the times when you whispered my name because you had no strength left for long prayers. Those moments are precious to me because they reveal a heart that continues reaching toward me even in weakness. There is a tree that grows high upon a mountainside where strong winds blow throughout the year. Unlike trees growing in sheltered valleys, its roots must reach deeper into the earth to remain standing. Though its growth may appear slower, its foundation becomes remarkably strong. When the fiercest storms arrive, it remains firmly planted because its roots have learned to hold tightly beneath the surface. My beloved child, your roots have been growing deeper in my love. You may not always notice it, but every season has anchored your heart more securely in my faithfulness. Do not compare your faith with someone else's. Every journey is different because every purpose is unique. Some people face battles you have never encountered, while you have overcome challenges they cannot imagine. I am not asking you to measure yourself against others. I am inviting you to continue walking with me, trusting that I know exactly how to develop the faith needed for the calling I have prepared specifically for you. There will be new opportunities ahead that would have frightened the person you used to be. There will be responsibilities that once seemed impossible. There will be doors that require courage to walk through. But because your faith has been strengthened through this journey, you will no longer approach those moments with the same uncertainty. You will remember how faithfully I carried you through every previous season, and those memories will give you confidence for the future. Whenever doubt tries to return, remind your heart of my faithfulness. Remember the prayers I have already answered. Remember the peace I gave you when life felt overwhelming. Remember the doors I opened after others closed. Remember how I sustained you on days when you thought you could not continue. Those memories are not meant to keep you living in the past. They are reminders that the God who was faithful then remains faithful now. My beloved child, your faith is becoming a testimony that will encourage others. There are people who will one day watch the way you face difficulties with quiet confidence, and they will wonder where your peace comes from. They will see strength where there once was weakness, hope where there once was despair, and courage where fear once lived. Through your life, they will begin to discover my goodness. So keep trusting me, even when the next step is not completely visible. Keep praying, even when the answer has not yet arrived. Keep believing, even when circumstances try to tell a different story. Your faith is no longer fragile. It is growing stronger with every step you take beside me. I am shaping within you a heart that cannot easily be shaken because it is rooted in my love, established by my truth, and sustained by my everlasting presence. And as your faith continues to grow, you will find yourself walking into the greater things I have prepared with confidence, peace, and unwavering hope. My beloved child, there are moments when you look at the situation before you and quietly whisper, "This is impossible." The mountain appears too high to climb. The valley seems too wide to cross. The answers you need feel far beyond your reach. You have examined the circumstances from every angle, measured your own strength, and concluded that there is no way forward. But I want you to remember something that changes everything. You are measuring the situation by human limits, while I am working with divine possibilities. What is impossible for you has never been impossible for me. I have never been restricted by the boundaries that limit human understanding. I am not discouraged by closed doors, delayed answers, or overwhelming obstacles. I see beyond them all. Where you see an ending, I see the beginning of a new chapter. Where you see a barrier, I already know the path that leads through it. Where you see weakness, I see an opportunity for my strength to be revealed in a way that leaves no doubt that I was the one who carried you. Think about a shepherd leading his flock through a narrow mountain pass. The sheep cannot see what lies beyond the next bend. From where they stand, the path may seem dangerous and uncertain. They may wonder if the valley will ever open into green pastures again. Yet the shepherd walks with confidence because he has traveled the path before. He knows where fresh water flows. He knows where safe ground awaits. My beloved child, I am your shepherd. I have already walked the road that is still unknown to you. Nothing about your future surprises me because I have prepared it with love long before you arrived at this moment. Too often you have believed that the size of the obstacle determines the outcome. But the outcome has never been determined by the obstacle. It has always been determined by my presence. A shadow may appear large when the light is behind it, but the shadow has no power of its own. In the same way, many of the fears that stand before you seem greater than they truly are because you have been looking at them instead of looking at me. Lift your eyes, my beloved child. When your focus returns to me, you will begin to see your circumstances in their proper place. I know there are prayers you have almost stopped praying because disappointment has visited your heart too many times. There are dreams you quietly placed on a shelf because they seem too distant to ever become reality. There are hopes you protected by lowering your expectations, believing it would hurt less if you expected nothing at all. But I did not place those dreams within your heart so that fear could bury them. I planted them because they are connected to the purpose I have prepared for your life. Do not misunderstand my timing as my refusal. There have been moments when you believed I was saying no, when in truth I was saying, not yet. A loving father does not give his child everything the moment it is requested. He gives according to wisdom, understanding both the gift and the season. In the same way, I know the exact moment when what I have promised will become the greatest blessing instead of becoming a burden. Trust that my delays are filled with love, not neglect. Imagine a skilled musician tuning an instrument before a great performance. To someone waiting in the audience, the pauses may seem unnecessary. They may wish the music would begin immediately. Yet the musician understands that proper preparation creates beautiful harmony. My beloved child, I have been tuning your heart, your character, your faith, and your perspective. When the moment arrives for the next chapter to begin, everything will be in harmony with the purpose I have designed for you. Do not allow your imagination to become a place where fear writes stories that have never happened. Instead, let your heart become a place where my promises are remembered. When anxiety tells you that failure is certain, answer it by remembering how faithfully I have carried you through every previous season. When doubt whispers that nothing will ever change, remind your soul that I am the God who brings life into places that appeared empty and hope into hearts that believed they had none left. My beloved child, I delight in accomplishing what human strength cannot explain. Not because I desire to amaze the world, but because I desire my children to know that they never walk alone. I want you to experience the joy of discovering that my power reaches beyond every limitation you have ever known. I want your heart to rest in the confidence that no obstacle is greater than my wisdom, no wound is deeper than my love, and no situation is beyond my ability to redeem. So today, lay the impossible before me. Bring me the burden you have been carrying. Bring me the prayer you almost stopped praying. Bring me the dream you thought had faded beyond recovery. Do not hold back because of fear or disappointment. Place it all into my hands. I am not asking you to solve what only I can solve. I am asking you to trust the one who has never been defeated by impossibility. Walk forward with courage, my beloved child. The road ahead may still require faith, but it no longer requires you to carry the weight alone. I am already moving in places you cannot yet see. I am opening ways where none appear to exist. I am turning obstacles into opportunities and delays into divine appointments. What seems impossible today will one day become part of your testimony, and when that day comes, you will not speak of your own strength. You will speak of my faithfulness, my power, and my unfailing love that carried you into blessings far greater than you ever imagined possible. My beloved child, I know about the tears you never allowed anyone else to see. I know about the nights when the room was quiet, yet your heart was filled with questions. I know about the moments when you smiled for others while carrying burdens that felt too heavy to explain. There were times when you believed no one could truly understand what you were feeling. Even when you were surrounded by people, you felt alone in your struggle. But I want you to hear my voice with absolute certainty today. I have seen every tear. I have heard every silent cry. I have never turned away from your pain, not even for a single moment. There is no sorrow so hidden that it escapes my notice. There is no wound so deep that my love cannot reach it. Before a tear ever fell from your eyes, I already knew the ache within your heart. Before you found the words to pray, I understood the burden you were carrying. I know the disappointments you never spoke about because you feared others would not understand. I know the heartbreak that changed the way you looked at life. I know the prayers that ended with silence because you were too exhausted to continue speaking. My beloved child, even in those quiet moments, I was listening. Sometimes you have wondered why I did not remove the pain immediately. You asked why healing seemed to take so long. You questioned why certain losses were allowed to happen at all. These are honest questions, and I have never been offended by them. A loving father is not threatened by the honest cries of his child. I invite you to bring every question into my presence, because I would rather you come to me with your pain than carry it alone. Imagine a gentle shepherd searching for a lamb that has wandered into a rocky valley. The lamb is frightened, tired, and unable to find its way back. The shepherd does not stand on the hill and call from a distance, expecting the lamb to rescue itself. He walks down into the valley. He carefully lifts the lamb into his arms and carries it until it is safe again. My beloved child, that is how I have cared for you. I have stepped into the valleys of your life. I have carried you through moments when you believed you had no strength left. Even when you thought you were walking alone, it was my love that was holding you together. There were days when you wondered how you managed to keep going. You could not explain where the strength came from. You simply took one more step, then another, and somehow you made it through. That strength was not an accident. It was my grace sustaining you. While you believed you were barely holding on, I was holding you securely. My hands never loosened their grip, even when your own faith felt weak. Do not believe the lie that your tears have been meaningless. Every tear has watered the soil of your heart. Through those painful moments, compassion has grown within you. Patience has deepened. Wisdom has matured. You have become more understanding toward those who suffer because you know what it feels like to carry invisible burdens. The pain you endured has not been wasted. I am transforming it into a source of comfort that will one day bring hope to others walking through similar valleys. My beloved child, I also want you to stop believing that you must always appear strong. There is a difference between strength and pretending. True strength is not hiding your wounds. It is trusting me enough to bring them into my presence. You never have to impress me with perfect faith or perfect courage. I already know every part of your heart. I love you completely, not because you never struggled, but because you are my beloved child. When grief visits your heart again, do not push me away. Invite me into the sorrow. Let me sit with you in the silence. Let me remind you that mourning is not the absence of faith. Even in tears, your heart can remain close to mine. I am not only the God of your victories. I am also the God who remains beside you in your hardest moments, refusing to leave until hope begins to rise again. There will come a day when many of the questions you carry today will finally be answered. You will see how I was protecting you in ways you never recognized. You will understand why certain doors remained closed and why certain paths ended. But until that day, I ask you to trust my heart even when you cannot fully understand my ways. My love has never depended on your understanding. It has remained constant through every season of your life. My beloved child, lift your eyes now. Do not allow yesterday's sorrow to convince you that tomorrow holds no joy. The same heart that has wept will laugh again. The same eyes that have shed tears will witness my faithfulness in ways they have never seen before. The same spirit that grew weary will be renewed with fresh strength. I am gently healing what still hurts. I am restoring what grief tried to steal. I am surrounding you with my peace, even now. Never forget this truth. Your tears have never fallen unnoticed. They have fallen into the loving hands of your Father, who treasures you beyond measure. I have walked with you through every valley, stayed beside you through every storm, and carried you through every moment you thought would break you. And because I have never left your side, I will also be with you as you step into the beautiful future I have already prepared. Your sorrow is not the end of your story. My love is. My beloved child, I want to remind you today of something that will never change, even when everything around you seems uncertain. My promises have not changed. The world changes. Circumstances change. Seasons change. People sometimes change. Your emotions may rise and fall like the tides of the sea, but my word remains steadfast. What I have spoken in love over your life does not lose its power because time has passed. It does not become weaker because you have faced disappointment. It does not disappear because the journey has been longer than you expected. My promises stand firm because they are anchored in my unchanging character. There have been moments when you quietly wondered if I had forgotten what I spoke to your heart. You remembered the hope you once carried so confidently. You remembered the dreams that once filled you with joy. But after seasons of waiting, you began to question whether those promises were still alive. My beloved child, do not mistake the silence between the planting and the harvest as evidence that the seed has died. Some of the greatest work takes place beneath the surface where your eyes cannot yet see it. Imagine a master craftsman building a magnificent cathedral. A passerby who visits the construction site during its earliest stages might only see scattered stones, unfinished walls, and empty spaces. It would be easy to conclude that nothing beautiful could ever emerge from such disorder. Yet the craftsman never loses sight of the completed design. Every stone is placed with intention. Every beam has a purpose. Every delay serves the stability of what will stand for generations. My beloved child, I am that master builder. I have never lost sight of the beautiful future I am creating through your life. Even when you only see unfinished places, I already see the completed work. Do not allow delays to redefine my promises. Delay is not denial. Waiting is not abandonment. There is a difference between something being late according to your expectations and something arriving exactly on time according to my wisdom. I understand the seasons of your life in ways that no human mind can fully comprehend. I know when your heart is ready. I know when the circumstances are prepared. I know when every piece has been positioned according to my perfect plan. My beloved child, my promises are not dependent upon perfect circumstances. If they were, no one would ever receive them, because life itself is filled with changing conditions. My promises are fulfilled because I remain faithful, not because every situation appears favorable. This is why I ask you to place your confidence in me rather than in what you can currently see. What you see today is temporary. My faithfulness is eternal. There may be voices around you telling you to stop believing, to lower your expectations, or to accept that nothing will ever change. Those voices speak from limited understanding. They measure possibilities by human strength alone, but I measure possibilities by my limitless power. Never allow someone else's unbelief to become the foundation of your future. Hold firmly to the hope I have placed within you. Guard it carefully, for it is one of the precious gifts I have given your heart. Think of the sunrise once more. Long before the first rays of light appear over the horizon, morning has already begun. The earth is already turning toward the light, even though darkness still covers the land. In the same way, your breakthrough often begins long before you recognize its arrival. My answers are already moving toward you while you are still praying. My provision is already being prepared while you are still waiting. My restoration is already unfolding while you are still wondering if it will ever come. My beloved child, remember the times I have already proven my faithfulness. There were seasons when you believed there was no way forward, yet I opened a path. There were burdens you thought would crush you, yet I gave you strength to carry them. There were prayers you almost stopped praying, yet in my perfect timing, I answered them in ways you never expected. Those memories are not simply stories from your past. They are reminders of who I am. I have not changed since then, and I will not change now. When uncertainty tries to enter your heart, return to my promises instead of your fears. Let my truth become louder than your doubts. Fill your thoughts with the ways I have already cared for you instead of imagining everything that could go wrong. The more you dwell upon my faithfulness, the stronger your hope will become. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is the quiet confidence that my character remains trustworthy in every season. I know the waiting has stretched your patience. I know there have been moments when you felt tempted to give up. But my beloved child, you are closer than you realize. Do not turn back now. Do not abandon hope just before the dawn begins to break. Continue walking with me one step at a time. Continue trusting even when you cannot yet see the full picture. Continue believing that what I have spoken over your life remains true. My promises are not fragile. They cannot be destroyed by delays, weakened by obstacles, or erased by your past mistakes. They are held securely in my hands, and my hands never fail. So rest your heart in this truth today. I am still leading you. I am still preparing you. I am still opening doors, restoring what has been lost, strengthening your faith, and guiding you into the future I promised from the very beginning. What I have started in your life, I will faithfully bring to completion, and when you finally see the fullness of my plan, you will understand that every promise remained alive, even during the seasons when it seemed hidden from your sight. My beloved child, There have been moments when loneliness settled over your heart like a long winter evening. You were surrounded by people, yet you still felt unseen. You spoke kind words to others while silently carrying burdens that no one seemed to notice. There were times when you wondered whether anyone truly understood the battles you faced within your own mind. You questioned whether your journey had become yours alone to bear. But today I want you to quiet every voice that tells you that you are alone, because it is not the truth. I have never left your side, not for one moment, not through one trial, not during one sleepless night. I have been with you from the beginning, and I will remain with you until every promise I have spoken over your life had been fulfilled. When you could not feel my presence, I was still present. Feelings rise and fall like the changing weather, but my presence is not determined by your emotions. There were days when your heart felt full of peace, and there were days when confusion seemed to cover everything. Yet through both kinds of days, I remained exactly the same. I was walking beside you when you celebrated your victories, and I was sitting quietly beside you when tears became your only language. My love has never depended upon your ability to sense it. It has always surrounded you because it flows from my faithful heart. Think about a traveler walking through a dense forest before sunrise. The path is dim, and the trees seem endless. At times, the traveler may feel isolated, unable to see anyone else nearby. Yet just above the thick branches, the sun is already rising. Its light is steadily making its way through the leaves, even though the traveler cannot yet see the full brightness. My beloved child, there have been seasons when you felt surrounded by darkness, but my light was already making its way toward you. The silence was never empty. I was already working, already guiding, already preparing what you could not yet recognize. Do not confuse solitude with abandonment. There are seasons when I gently draw you away from constant noise because I desire to speak to your heart more clearly. In those quiet places, you discover that my voice is enough. You learn that your identity is not built upon the approval of others but upon my everlasting love. Solitude may feel uncomfortable for a time, but it often becomes the place where your deepest relationship with me begins to grow. My beloved child, I also know the pain of being misunderstood. There have been times when people formed opinions about you without knowing your heart. Some judged your decisions without understanding your struggles. Others overlooked your efforts because they only saw the results instead of the sacrifices. Those moments wounded you more deeply than you admitted. But I know the truth about you completely. I see every hidden act of kindness. I see every sacrifice made in love. I see every prayer offered in faith. Nothing you have done with a sincere heart has escaped my notice. When you feel forgotten by others, remember that you are fully known by me. When you feel overlooked, remember that my eyes have never left you. When you wonder whether your life matters, remember that I formed you with purpose before you ever took your first breath. Your worth has never depended upon how many people recognize your value. It has always rested securely in my love. Imagine a shepherd walking through the hills at night with his flock. While every sheep rests peacefully, the shepherd remains awake, watching over them. The sheep may not always see him, but his eyes never leave them. He listens for every unfamiliar sound. He stands ready to protect them from danger before they even realize they are at risk. My beloved child, that is how I watch over you. Even while you sleep, I remain faithful. Even when your mind is filled with uncertainty, my wisdom continues working on your behalf. You are never outside the reach of my care. There are blessings I have already placed around you that you may not yet recognize. A kind conversation, an unexpected encouragement, a moment of peace in the middle of a difficult day, a door that quietly opens just when you need it most. These are reminders that I am actively involved in your life. Train your heart to notice these gifts. The more you recognize my presence in the small moments, the more confidently you will trust me in the larger ones. My beloved child, the road ahead may still contain challenges, but it will never contain a single step that you must take alone. When you face uncertainty, I will be your wisdom. When you grow weary, I will be your strength. When fear whispers that you cannot continue, I will remind you that my power is made perfect even when your own strength feels small. I am not standing far away watching from a distance. I am walking with you, guiding your steps, steadying your heart, and surrounding you with my unfailing love. So whenever loneliness tries to settle into your thoughts again, answer it with this truth: your Father is here. I am closer than the air you breathe. I am nearer than your next heartbeat. I know your past completely. I hold your present securely, and I have already prepared your future with perfect love. Lift your eyes and keep walking, my beloved child. You are not walking through this life by yourself. You are walking hand in hand with the one who will never leave you, never forsake you, and never stop leading you toward the beautiful destiny that has always been waiting just ahead. My beloved child, I want you to look at your journey through a different lens today. So often you have asked why certain things happened, why some roads were longer than others, why certain battles appeared without warning, and why some dreams took so much longer to unfold. You searched for answers in each individual moment, never realizing that I was weaving every experience together into one beautiful story. Nothing you have walked through has been random. Every step has been preparing you for where I am leading you now. You may remember seasons that felt confusing, where nothing seemed to fit together. One day brought unexpected joy, while the next carried disappointment. One door opened only for another to close. At times, it felt as though your life was made up of scattered pieces that would never form a complete picture. But my beloved child, I have never worked with scattered pieces. I have always been creating a masterpiece. Even the moments you wished had never happened have become threads in the design I am carefully weaving. Imagine a master weaver sitting before a great loom. From underneath, the threads appear tangled. Colors cross one another in ways that seem without order. As someone viewing only the underside, the work might appear confusing and unfinished. But the weaver never sees confusion. He sees the pattern taking shape exactly as he planned it. When the tapestry is finally turned over, every thread reveals its purpose, and the beauty becomes unmistakable. My beloved child, many times you have been looking at the underside of the tapestry while I have always seen the finished work. There were lessons you could only learn through waiting. Patience cannot grow where everything arrives instantly. There were strengths you could only discover through challenges. Courage cannot mature where there is nothing to overcome. There was compassion that could only be formed through your own experiences of pain. Those who have never wept often struggle to comfort those who are grieving. But because you have walked through difficult valleys, your heart has become more tender, more understanding, and more capable of reflecting my love to others. I know there were moments when you asked me to remove every obstacle from your path. You thought an easier road would surely be a better one. Yet if I had answered every prayer exactly as you requested, you might never have become the person you are today. The very challenges you wanted removed became the places where your faith took deeper root. The disappointments that once broke your heart taught you to depend upon my promises instead of temporary circumstances. The delays that tested your patience also strengthened your endurance for the blessings that are now approaching. My beloved child, do not look back upon your difficult seasons with bitterness. Look back with understanding. Every season carried a gift, even if it arrived wrapped in hardship. Every setback taught you something that success alone never could. Every closed door redirected your steps toward a path that was more perfectly aligned with my purpose. Even when you believed you were losing ground, I was quietly leading you exactly where you needed to be. Think about a skilled sculptor standing before a large block of marble. To others, it appears to be nothing more than an ordinary stone. But the sculptor already sees the masterpiece hidden within. With every careful strike of the chisel, pieces begin to fall away. If the stone could speak, it might believe it was being damaged. It would not yet understand that every piece removed was revealing something more beautiful beneath the surface. My beloved child, I have been gently shaping your life with that same loving wisdom. There were things I removed not because I wished to diminish you, but because they no longer belonged in the person I created you to become. Do not regret the time you spent growing. The world often glorifies speed, but I value depth. A tree that grows too quickly without developing strong roots cannot withstand powerful storms. But a tree that has taken time to establish itself remains standing through every season. In the same way, I have been developing roots within your heart that will sustain you through the greater responsibilities and greater blessings that lie ahead. My beloved child, there are people you will one day encourage simply because you did not give up. Your testimony will not only consist of the victories you celebrate, it will also include the valleys you survive, the tears I wiped away, and the faith that continued growing when nothing around you seemed to change. Others will find hope because they will see that I remain faithful through every chapter of your story. So stop believing that any part of your journey has been wasted. The years you thought were lost were not lost to me. The prayers you thought went unheard were always before my heart. The waiting that felt endless was preparing you for blessings that required a stronger foundation than you realized. Every lesson, every challenge, every act of obedience, and every moment of quiet trust has been adding another stone to the life I am building within you. Walk forward now with renewed confidence, my beloved child. You do not have to fear what lies ahead because everything behind you has been preparing you for it. The wisdom you gained, the strength you developed, the peace you discovered, and the faith you nurtured were never meant only for yesterday. They are the tools I have placed in your hands for tomorrow. I have been preparing you every step of the way, and now you are closer than ever to the beautiful future I promised. Trust my leading, continue walking beside me, and you will discover that every step of your journey has brought you exactly where my perfect love intended you to be. My beloved child, I am doing more than changing your circumstances. I am changing the way you see them. Before I open new doors before you, I often open new vision within you. There are blessings that cannot be fully received until your perspective has been transformed. If you continue looking at tomorrow through the pain of yesterday, you will struggle to recognize the beautiful future I am placing before you. That is why I have been gently renewing your mind, lifting your eyes beyond your disappointments, and teaching you to see through the light of my truth instead of the shadows of your past. There was a time when you believed every setback meant you were moving away from my purpose. Every delay felt like rejection. Every closed door seemed like the end of another dream. But now I want you to see differently. What if the delays were protecting you? What if the closed doors were guiding you? What if every unexpected turn was leading you toward something greater than you had originally imagined? My beloved child, this is how I have always worked. I see the entire landscape while you can only see the next few steps. What appears confusing from where you stand is perfectly clear from where I stand. Imagine a traveler climbing a great mountain. At the beginning of the journey, tall trees block the view. The traveler can only see what is directly ahead. The path twists and turns, sometimes disappearing behind rocks and hills. It is easy to become discouraged because the destination remains hidden. But with every step upward, the view becomes wider. Suddenly, valleys, rivers, forests, and distant peaks come into sight. What once seemed like a narrow path is revealed to be part of a much greater landscape. My beloved child, I have been leading you higher, not merely to change your location, but to change your perspective. Many of the fears that once controlled you begin to lose their power when you see life through my eyes. Problems that once appeared overwhelming become opportunities to witness my faithfulness. Delays that once caused frustration become reminders that my timing is perfect. Challenges that once seemed impossible become invitations to trust my strength instead of your own. I am teaching you to look beyond the immediate moment and recognize the eternal purpose unfolding through every season. Do not allow old beliefs to limit the new vision I am placing within your heart. There have been lies that tried to define you for far too long. They whispered that you were not enough, that your best days were behind you, that your mistakes had permanently disqualified you, or that your dreams were too unrealistic. Those lies were never spoken by me. I have always called you loved. I have always called you chosen. I have always seen possibilities where fear saw limitations. My beloved child, I am awakening dreams that you thought had disappeared forever. Not every dream you released was meant to remain buried. Some were simply waiting for the right season. Just as flowers bloom according to their appointed time, so too do many of the desires I have placed within your heart. What seemed impossible in one season may become perfectly possible in another because I have been preparing both you and the circumstances around you. There is a window in an old house that has gathered dust over many years. As long as the dust remains, very little light enters the room. The house itself has not changed, and neither has the sunlight outside. Only the window needs to be cleaned. Once the dust is removed, the light pours in, revealing beauty that had been hidden all along. My beloved child, I have been gently cleaning the windows of your heart. Fear, disappointment, regret, and discouragement had begun to cloud your vision. But my truth is clearing away those things so that you can once again see the hope, beauty, and purpose that have always been present. As your vision changes, so will your expectations. You will no longer expect failure before you begin. You will no longer assume that every opportunity will end in disappointment. Instead, you will begin expecting my goodness because you have learned my character. You will begin recognizing my hand in ordinary moments. You will discover reasons to hope where you once only found reasons to worry. This renewed perspective is one of the greatest gifts I can give you because it allows you to walk forward with confidence instead of fear. Do not be afraid of dreaming again. Do not be afraid of believing that better days truly are ahead. Hope is not weakness. Hope is the quiet confidence that my love is still writing your story. I have not brought you this far simply to leave you standing at the edge of uncertainty. I have brought you here because I am preparing to reveal more of my goodness than you have yet experienced. My beloved child, keep your eyes lifted toward me. Refuse to let temporary circumstances become the measure of your future. Let my promises shape your vision. Let my faithfulness become the lens through which you view every new opportunity. The more you focus on my presence, the clearer your path will become. I am giving you new vision because I am leading you into a new season. The person who steps into that season cannot continue seeing life through the fears of the past. You are becoming someone who sees possibilities where others see obstacles, peace where others see panic, and purpose where others see confusion. Walk forward with expectation, for I am opening your eyes to blessings that have been approaching all along. The future before you is brighter than the past behind you, and as you continue walking beside me, you will discover that the greatest chapters of your story are still waiting to be written. My beloved child, I want you to stop measuring your future by what has happened in your past. Too often you have looked behind you to decide what is possible ahead of you. You have allowed old disappointments to become predictions of tomorrow. You have quietly wondered whether the same pain would repeat itself, whether the same doors would remain closed, or whether the same struggles would continue following you wherever you went. But I tell you today, the future I have prepared for you is not a copy of the past you have survived. I am leading you into something new, and you must not let old memories convince you that new beginnings cannot exist. There are seasons in life that seem to leave deep marks upon the heart. Betrayal can make it difficult to trust again. Failure can make it difficult to try again. Loss can make it difficult to hope again. Yet I did not create your heart to remain imprisoned by yesterday. I created it to be renewed by my love. Healing is not pretending that the past never happened. Healing is discovering that the past no longer has the power to control your future because my grace has become greater than your pain. Imagine a gardener preparing a field after a long, harsh winter. The ground appears lifeless. Broken branches cover the soil, and nothing seems ready to grow. Someone passing by might assume the land has no future. Yet the gardener knows what others cannot see. Beneath the surface, the soil is being prepared for new life. The old branches are cleared away, fresh seeds are planted, and with time, the empty field begins to bloom with colors that seemed impossible only weeks before. My beloved child, I have been tending the garden of your heart in the same loving way. What appeared empty has been quietly prepared for new growth. What looked finished has only been resting before a new season of life. Do not fear the changes I am bringing. Sometimes you have become comfortable with familiar struggles simply because they were familiar. Even pain can become a place people hesitate to leave because they have learned how to live with it. But I did not call you to become comfortable with burdens I never intended you to carry forever. I am inviting you into greater freedom. Freedom may feel unfamiliar at first, but it is where I desire you to live. My beloved child, there are habits of fear that I am gently replacing with habits of trust. There are thoughts of defeat that I am replacing with confidence in my promises. Every time you choose to believe my voice instead of your doubts, another chain begins to fall away. Every time you remember my faithfulness instead of reliving your failures, your heart becomes stronger. Transformation often happens quietly, one faithful step at a time, until one day you realize you are no longer the person you once were. There were moments when you believed your mistakes had written the final chapter of your story. You thought opportunities had been lost forever. You imagined that certain dreams could never be restored. But my beloved child, I have always been greater than your failures. My mercy reaches places your regrets cannot. I am not limited by the chapters you wish you could rewrite. I am the author who continues writing with wisdom, compassion, and hope. What you believed was the ending, I can transform into the beginning of something far more beautiful than you imagined. Think about the sunrise after a long night of heavy rain. The storm leaves puddles on the ground and clouds hanging low across the sky. Yet slowly, the sunlight breaks through. The same water that reflected darkness during the night begins reflecting brilliant light in the morning. The rain itself is no longer the focus. The light becomes the greater story. My beloved child, I am bringing my light into places where darkness once seemed to have the final word. What hurt you will not define you. My love will. As I lead you forward, you will begin noticing opportunities that once escaped your attention. Doors will appear where you expected walls. Friendships will grow where loneliness once lived. Peace will settle where anxiety once ruled. This is not because life suddenly becomes free from every challenge. It is because my presence changes the way you walk through every circumstance. You are no longer walking as someone abandoned to face life alone. You are walking with your Father, who knows every step before you take it. So release the weight of yesterday into my hands. You do not have to carry it any longer. Let me carry what has exhausted you. Let me heal what has wounded you. Let me restore what has been broken. There is no shame in trusting me with the places that still ache. I delight in bringing hope where discouragement once lived and peace where fear once held its ground. My beloved child, I am opening your heart to receive the new things I have been preparing all along. Do not cling to old sorrow when new joy is already approaching. Do not keep staring at closed doors when I am inviting you to walk through open ones. Lift your eyes with expectation. Take each step with courage. Continue trusting my voice even when you cannot yet see the entire path. I am leading you into a future shaped by my faithfulness, sustained by my love, and filled with purpose. The season ahead will not be defined by what you lost, but by everything I am about to restore, and you will discover that what I am beginning in your life is far greater than anything you thought had ended. My beloved child, I want you to learn the beauty of resting in my presence. The world around you constantly tells you to hurry, to achieve more, to prove yourself, and to carry every burden on your own shoulders. It whispers that your value is measured by how much you accomplish and how little you rest. But I have never measured your worth that way. Your value has never come from endless striving. It has always come from the simple truth that you are my beloved child. Before you accomplished anything, I loved you. Before you overcame a single obstacle, I delighted in you. My love has never depended upon your performance. It has always flowed from my heart. There have been seasons when you carried responsibilities that seemed heavier than you could bear. You tried to solve every problem, anticipate every challenge, and prepare for every possible outcome. Your mind rarely became quiet because you believed everything depended upon you. Even while your body rested, your thoughts continued working. Worry quietly stole your peace, and anxiety convinced you that if you stopped striving, everything would fall apart. But my beloved child, there are battles you were never meant to fight alone. There are burdens I have always invited you to place into my hands. Imagine a little child walking beside a loving father on a long journey. The child carries a small bag at first, but as the road continues, even that small weight begins to feel heavy. The father notices the child's tired steps. He kneels down, smiles with kindness, and says, "Give it to me." The child hesitates for a moment, believing it is his responsibility to carry it. But once he places the bag into his father's hands, he discovers how much lighter the journey becomes. My beloved child, I have been saying those same words to your heart. Give it to me. Give me the worries you cannot control. Give me the fears that keep you awake. Give me the questions you cannot answer. I am strong enough to carry what has become too heavy for you. Rest is not a sign of weakness. Trust is not laziness. When you choose to rest in me, you are declaring that my strength is greater than your own. You are acknowledging that I remain faithful even when you cannot see every detail. This kind of rest is not the absence of responsibility. It is the presence of confidence that I am working even when you are unable to see the results immediately. My beloved child, remember how often I have already carried you through situations that seemed impossible. There were times when you thought you had reached the end of your strength, yet somehow you continued moving forward. There were moments when you had no answers, yet the right solution appeared at exactly the right time. There were days when you believed you would never recover, yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still growing. Those moments were not accidents. There were reminders that my hands have always been supporting you. Do not let tomorrow steal today's peace. The future will bring its own opportunities and its own challenges, but you do not have to carry tomorrow before it arrives. Live faithfully in the day I have placed before you. Walk with me through this moment. Listen for my voice today. Trust my guidance today. As each new day comes, I will provide the wisdom, strength, and grace you need for that day as well. Think about a river flowing gently through a valley. The river does not struggle to reach the sea. It simply continues moving forward, following the path prepared for it. It does not become anxious about every rock along the way because it knows it will continue flowing around every obstacle. My beloved child, I want your heart to become like that river. Continue moving with quiet confidence. Do not become trapped by every obstacle you encounter. Trust that I will make a way where one is needed and provide direction whenever you feel uncertain. There is a peace I desire to establish deep within your heart, a peace that remains steady even when circumstances change. It is not based upon perfect conditions or an easy life. It comes from knowing that I am with you in every season. Storms may still arise, but they no longer have the power to shake the foundation we are building together. When your heart is anchored in my love, temporary troubles lose their ability to control your spirit. My beloved child, slow your thoughts whenever fear begins to race ahead of you. Return your attention to my presence. Breathe in the assurance that I am near. Remember the countless ways I have already demonstrated my faithfulness. Let gratitude replace worry. Let trust replace striving. Let hope replace discouragement. The more time you spend resting in my presence, the stronger your heart will become, because my peace will quietly fill every place where anxiety once lived. I am not asking you to carry the weight of the entire journey today. I'm only asking you to take the next step beside me. I will provide what you need when you need it. I will open the doors that belong in your path and close the ones that would lead you away from my purpose. I will strengthen you when you feel weak, comfort you when you are hurting, and guide you whenever the road seems unclear. So rest, my beloved child. Rest in my promises. Rest in my faithfulness. Rest in the certainty that I am already preparing the way before you. You do not have to earn my love, and you do not have to force my plans into existence. I am already at work, accomplishing what only I can do. Walk peacefully with me, and you will discover that the greatest strength often comes, not from striving harder, but from trusting your loving Father more deeply than ever before. My beloved child, I want you to remember that I have placed a purpose within you that no circumstance can erase. Long before you understood your own strengths, I knew them. Long before you questioned your direction, I had already prepared the path before your feet. You have sometimes believed that your purpose depended upon perfect timing, perfect choices, or perfect conditions. But I tell you the truth today. Your purpose has always rested safely in my hands. It is not so fragile that one mistake can destroy it, nor is it so uncertain that one difficult season can cause it to disappear. What I have placed within you remains alive because I am the one who planted it there. There were moments when you compared your journey with the journeys of others. You watched them seem to move ahead while you remained in seasons of waiting. You wondered whether you had fallen behind or somehow missed the life you were meant to live. Comparison quietly stole your peace because it convinced you that someone else's timeline should become your own. But my beloved child, I have never asked you to walk another person's path. I designed a journey that is uniquely yours, filled with lessons, relationships, opportunities, and blessings prepared especially for you. Imagine a beautiful garden filled with many different kinds of flowers. One blooms in early spring, Another opens during the warmth of summer. Still another reveals its beauty in autumn. None of them compete with one another. None of them apologize for blooming in their appointed season. Each one fulfills its purpose exactly when it was created to bloom. My beloved child, you are like that flower. Your season is not determined by someone else's calendar. Your life unfolds according to my wisdom, and my timing has never failed. Do not despise the quiet seasons when little seems to be happening. Those seasons often contain some of my deepest work. Roots grow in hidden places before branches reach toward the sky. Foundations are laid beneath the surface before a house begins to rise. In the same way, I have been strengthening your character in places no one else can see. I have been teaching you humility, patience, perseverance, compassion, and faithfulness. These treasures cannot always be measured by the world, but they are precious in my sight because they prepare you for the responsibilities that are ahead. My beloved child, I also want you to understand that purpose is not found only in extraordinary moments. It is found in daily faithfulness. Every act of kindness matters. Every encouraging word carries value. Every quiet prayer offered with sincerity reaches my heart. Every choice to forgive instead of becoming bitter reflects my love. Do not believe that your life only matters when something dramatic happens. I am present in the ordinary moments, shaping your story one faithful step at a time. There is a lighthouse standing upon a rocky shore. It does not chase the ships across the sea. It simply stands where it was built, faithfully shining its light through every storm and every calm night. Because it remains faithful to its purpose, countless travelers find their way safely home. My beloved child, I am calling you to be like that lighthouse. You do not need to become someone else in order to make a difference. Simply allow my light to shine through your life. As you remain close to me, others will find hope, peace, and encouragement because they see my love reflected in you. Perhaps you have wondered whether your small acts of obedience truly matter. You may have questioned whether anyone notices your efforts. I notice them. I see the kindness you offer when no one applauds. I see the patience you show when frustration would have been easier. I see the moments when you choose integrity even though no one else is watching. Nothing done in love is ever wasted. Every faithful step becomes part of the legacy I am building through your life. My beloved child, stop waiting until you feel completely ready before embracing the purpose I have placed before you. If you wait until every fear disappears, you may never begin. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to trust me even while uncertainty still whispers around you. I have never required you to know every answer before taking the next step. I simply ask you to keep walking with me. As you move forward in faith, I will continue revealing what you need at the right time. There will be days when progress feels slow. Do not become discouraged. A mighty oak does not grow to its full height in a single season. It becomes strong through years of steady growth. In the same way, your purpose unfolds gradually. Each lesson you learn, each challenge you overcome, and each moment you choose to trust me is shaping you into the person I created you to become. Do not measure your growth by what you cannot yet see. Trust the work I am doing beneath the surface. Lift your eyes, my beloved child, and walk forward with quiet confidence. You are not wandering without direction. You are not living by accident. Every season has meaning, every step has purpose, and every day offers another opportunity to reflect my love. The plans I have for you are still unfolding. The gifts I have placed within you are still growing. The doors I have prepared will open at the proper time. Continue walking faithfully beside me, and you will discover that the purpose I planted in your heart is becoming clearer with every step. What I am beginning in your life is greater than you can presently imagine. and I will faithfully lead you until every part of my beautiful design has been revealed. My beloved child, today I want you to stop looking at yourself through the eyes of fear and begin seeing yourself through the eyes of my love. For too long, you have measured your life by your weaknesses instead of my strength. You have remembered your failures more easily than my faithfulness. You have replayed moments of regret while overlooking the countless times my grace carried you through. But I did not create you to live beneath the weight of shame. I created you to walk in the freedom of knowing that you are deeply loved, fully known, and continually being transformed by my presence. There have been days when your inner voice became your greatest enemy. It reminded you of every mistake, every missed opportunity, and every moment you wished you could erase. It quietly suggested that you were not capable, not worthy, or not enough. My beloved child, those accusations have never come from me. My voice brings conviction that leads to healing, but it never speaks condemnation that leads to hopelessness. I lift you up. I restore you. I remind you of who you truly are because I see beyond your imperfections into the person I am shaping each day. Imagine an artist carefully restoring an old painting that has been covered with years of dust and damage. Someone who looks at it quickly may only notice the cracks, faded colors, and worn edges. They may believe the painting has lost its value forever, but the artist sees something entirely different. He sees the original beauty hidden beneath the damage. With patient hands, he gently removes the dirt, repairs the broken places, and restores the colors until the masterpiece begins to shine once again. My beloved child, I am that artist, and your life is precious in my hands. I do not focus on the places where life has left scars. I focus on the beauty I placed within you from the very beginning, and I am faithfully restoring it. Do not believe that your scars make you less valuable. Some of your deepest wounds have become the places where my compassion shines most brightly. The kindness you extend to others often flows from the pain you once endured. The wisdom you now carry was born through seasons of uncertainty. The strength you possess today was developed through struggles you once believed would defeat you. Nothing surrendered into my hands remains without purpose. My beloved child, I also want you to stop comparing your hidden struggles with someone else's visible victories. You rarely see the entire story of another person's life. You do not know every battle they have faced or every lesson they are still learning. Comparison blinds you to the blessings I have already placed within your own journey. Instead of looking sideways, lift your eyes toward me. When your attention remains fixed on my love, you will discover peace that comparison could never give. There is a potter shaping clay upon a wheel. As the clay spins, it cannot fully understand every movement of the potter's hands. At times, pressure is applied. At other moments, the clay is gently smoothed and refined. If the clay could only feel the pressure, it might believe something was wrong. Yet every touch has purpose. Every movement is forming a vessel designed for beauty and usefulness. My beloved child, you have felt the pressure of certain seasons. But those moments were never meant to destroy you. They were shaping you. My hands have never left your life, even when the process felt difficult. You often ask whether you are becoming the person I created you to be. Let me answer that question with confidence. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you are becoming more like the person I created. Every time you choose hope instead of despair, you are growing. Every time you trust me despite uncertainty, your faith becomes stronger. Transformation does not happen all at once. It happens through thousands of quiet decisions to keep walking with me, even when the path is not fully visible. My beloved child, celebrate the progress you have made instead of only focusing on how far you still wish to go. There was a time when challenges that you now overcome would have completely discouraged you. There were fears that once controlled your decisions but no longer have the same power. There were prayers you once whispered with trembling faith that have now become testimonies of my goodness. You may not yet be where you hope to be, but you are no longer where you once were. That is evidence of my faithful work within your life. Do not rush the process of becoming. A sunrise does not flood the earth with light in a single instant. It begins with the first gentle rays breaking across the horizon, and little by little, the darkness gives way to the brilliance of a new day. In the same way, I am bringing increasing light into your heart. Every lesson you embrace, every truth you believe, and every step of obedience you take allows my light to shine more clearly through your life. So stand with confidence, my beloved child, not because you have become perfect, but because my love is perfect. Walk forward knowing that I am continuing the good work I began within you. Refuse to let shame define your identity or fear determine your future. You belong to me, and I delight in seeing you grow stronger with every season. Keep trusting my hands, keep listening for my voice, and keep believing my promises. I am restoring your confidence, renewing your heart, and preparing you for the greater things that lie ahead. The person you are becoming through my love is more beautiful than you can yet imagine, and I will remain faithfully beside you until that beautiful work is complete. My beloved child, I want you to understand that every season of your life has been leading to this moment. Nothing has been wasted. Not the waiting, not the victories, not the disappointments, and not even the tears you thought no one noticed. I have gathered every experience and woven it together with my wisdom. What once seemed like disconnected chapters are becoming one beautiful story of my faithfulness. As you stand where you are today, you may still see unanswered questions, but I see a heart that has grown stronger, gentler, wiser, and more deeply rooted in my love than ever before. There was a time when you believed that strength meant never feeling afraid. You thought courage belonged only to those who never doubted or struggled. But I have been teaching you a different kind of strength. True strength is choosing to trust me even when your heart trembles. It is continuing to walk forward when the road is unclear because you know the one who is leading you. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the quiet confidence that my hand will never let go of yours. Imagine an eagle soaring high above the mountains. It does not fear the strong winds that writhe beneath its wings. While smaller birds seek shelter from every gust, the eagle learns to use the wind to rise even higher. The very force that seems threatening becomes the means by which it reaches greater heights. My beloved child, there have been winds in your life that you wished would disappear. Trials, setbacks, unexpected changes, and moments of deep uncertainty have all tested your faith. Yet I have been using those very experiences to lift you higher than comfort alone ever could. What you feared would push you down has become part of the strength that now carries you forward. Do not be discouraged by the challenges that still remain before you. Every new season brings opportunities to trust me in deeper ways. If I removed every obstacle, you would never fully discover the strength I have been building within you. I do not delight in your struggles, but I delight in seeing my beloved child become more confident in my faithfulness. Every victory over fear, every step taken in obedience, and every prayer offered with sincere trust becomes another reminder that my power is greater than anything you face. My beloved child, there will be moments when you are called to encourage others who feel weary. You may wonder how you could possibly help them when you still remember your own difficult days. But that is exactly why your words will carry such compassion. You will not speak from theory. You will speak from experience. You will be able to say, I know what it feels like to wait. I know what it feels like to wonder. but I also know what it feels like to discover that God never stopped working. Your journey is becoming a source of hope that will strengthen hearts you have not yet met. Never underestimate the influence of a life surrendered to my love. A single act of kindness can change someone's day. A single word of encouragement can restore hope to a discouraged heart. A single moment of forgiveness can break a cycle of bitterness that has lasted for years. You do not always see the full impact of your faithfulness, but I do. The seeds you plant in love continue growing long after you have forgotten planting them. Trust me with the harvest. Your responsibility is simply to remain faithful. There is a musician carefully tuning a beautiful instrument before an important performance. Each string must be adjusted with precision. Some are tightened, while others are gently loosened. To someone unfamiliar with the process, the adjustments may seem unnecessary. Yet every careful movement prepares the instrument to produce beautiful music. My beloved child, I have been tuning your heart with its same loving care. The seasons of stretching and the seasons of rest have both been necessary. I have been preparing you to reflect my love with greater clarity than ever before. As you continue this journey, remember that you are not defined by what the world celebrates. Your true success is found in walking faithfully with me. There will always be voices encouraging you to chase recognition, approval, or temporary achievements. But lasting joy is found in remaining close to my heart. When you seek me first, everything else finds its proper place. Peace replaces striving. Contentment replaces comparison. Gratitude replaces dissatisfaction. These are treasures that no circumstance can take away. My beloved child, I know there are still dreams within your heart that have not yet come to pass. Do not lose hope because they have taken longer than you expected. I am never hurrying, and I am never late. Every promise unfolds according to my perfect wisdom. Continue preparing your heart. Continue walking in faith. Continue serving with humility. The opportunities I have prepared will arrive at exactly the right moment, and when they do, you will recognize that the waiting itself became part of the blessing. Lift your head with confidence today. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. My love has strengthened you. My peace has steadied you. My truth has renewed your mind. My grace has carried you through every valley and every mountain path. Now continue walking forward without fear. I am still opening doors, still healing hidden places, still restoring what has been lost, and still preparing something greater than you can presently imagine. Stay close to me, my beloved child, for the story I am writing through your life is approaching a beautiful fulfillment, and the greatest testimony of my faithfulness is still unfolding before your eyes. My beloved child, I want you to lift your eyes beyond the horizon of what you can currently see. So much of your life has been shaped by what is visible. You have looked at circumstances to determine whether there is reason to hope. You have measured possibilities by the resources in your hands, the opinions of others, or the results you have experienced so far. But I am inviting you into a deeper way of living. I am calling you to trust what I have spoken more than what your eyes can presently observe. What you see today is only a small part of the greater work I am accomplishing. There have been mornings when you awakened with unanswered questions. You wondered whether anything had changed while you slept. You looked around and saw familiar surroundings, familiar responsibilities, and familiar challenges. It would have been easy to believe that nothing new was happening. Yet, my beloved child, some of my greatest works begin long before they become visible. Just because your eyes cannot yet detect change does not mean change has not already begun. Beneath the surface, I have been moving people, opening opportunities, softening hearts, and arranging moments that will meet you at exactly the right time. Think of a seed resting beneath. the soil after it hath been planted. For many days, nothing appears above the ground. To someone standing nearby, it may seem as though the seed has accomplished nothing at all. But hidden beneath the earth, life is already awakening. Tiny roots are reaching downward before the first green shoot ever reaches upward. The unseen work is preparing the visible growth. My beloved child, this is how I often work in your life. Before I reveal the blessing, I establish the foundation. Before I open the door, I prepare your heart to walk through it with wisdom, humility, and gratitude. Do not become discouraged simply because you cannot measure my progress with human eyes. I am not limited by the pace of the world. I am working according to perfect wisdom. There are details you cannot yet understand because you are only seeing one chapter while I hold the entire story. If I revealed everything at once, your heart would become overwhelmed. Instead, I lovingly guide you one step at a time, giving you exactly what you need for each season. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you felt tempted to stop expecting good things. After enough disappointments, it can seem safer to expect very little. You may think that lowering your expectations will protect your heart from future pain. But I did not create you to live without hope. Hope is not ignoring reality. Hope is believing that I remain greater than every reality you face. It is trusting that my love is still writing a beautiful future, even when today's page feels unfinished. There is a watchman standing upon the walls of a city as night slowly gives way to dawn. The darkness still covers the land, but the watchman keeps looking toward the eastern sky. He knows the sun is coming because it has never failed to rise. His confidence is not based upon what he sees in the darkness. It is based upon what he knows to be true. My beloved child, I want your heart to become like that faithful watchman. Keep looking toward my promises. Keep expecting my goodness. Do not let temporary darkness convince you that the light has forgotten its way. As you continue walking with me, I will teach you to celebrate small signs of my faithfulness. A quiet answer to prayer, an unexpected encouragement, a moment of peace in the middle of uncertainty, a new opportunity that arrives without warning. These are gentle reminders that I am constantly at work. Learn to treasure these moments, for they strengthen your faith to trust me for even greater things. My beloved child, never believe that you have come this far by your own strength alone. Every breath you have taken, every lesson you have learned, every obstacle you have overcome has been touched by my grace. When you were weak, I strengthened you. When you were confused, I guided you. When you felt alone, I remained beside you. Looking back, you can already see countless moments where my hand quietly carried you. Looking ahead, you can trust that the same faithful hand will continue leading you. Do not allow fear to speak louder than my promises. Fear always focuses on what might go wrong. My truth reminds you of everything that can go right when your life is placed in my hands. Fear tells you to retreat. I call you to move forward. Fear tells you that you are not enough. I remind you that my strength is more than enough. Fear points to your limitations. I point to my limitless love and power. My beloved child, the season you are entering will require confident faith, not because every answer has already been revealed, but because you have come to know my heart. You have learned through every trial that I do not abandon my children. You have discovered through every delay that my timing is trustworthy. You have experienced through every hardship that my grace is always sufficient. So continue walking with peaceful expectation. Let hope rise again within your heart. Let faith become stronger than fear. Let my promises become the foundation beneath every decision you make. I am already preparing blessings that will surprise you, restoring places that once seemed beyond repair, and opening paths that you could never have created on your own. Stay close to me, my beloved child. The work I have begun is nearing its beautiful fulfillment, and you will soon discover that everything I promised has been unfolding with perfect love from the very beginning. My beloved child, as you draw closer to the place I have been preparing for you, I want you to guard your heart with great care. Every new season brings new opportunities, but it can also bring new distractions. Not everything that calls for your attention deserves your focus. Not every voice speaking into your life is speaking with wisdom. This is why I have been teaching you to recognize my voice above every other voice. When you remain close to me, you will not have to live in constant confusion. I will gently lead you, and my peace will become the quiet confirmation that you are walking in the direction I have prepared for you. There have been times when you searched everywhere for answers while forgetting to become still before me. You looked for certainty in circumstances, in the opinions of people, and in signs that could reassure your heart. Yet, my beloved child, I have always desired something greater than simply giving you information. I desire a relationship so close that you learn to trust my heart even before you understand my plans. When you know me deeply, fear begins to lose its grip because you no longer rely only on what you can explain. You rely on the one who has never failed you. Imagine a sailor crossing a vast sea during the night. Thick clouds cover the sky, hiding the stars for a time. The waves rise and the wind changes direction. Yet the sailor does not throw away the compass simply because visibility becomes limited. He continues trusting the instrument that has faithfully guided him before. My beloved child, my truth is like that compass. There will be moments when emotions fluctuate and circumstances seem uncertain, but my word remains steady. Let it guide your decisions. Let it anchor your heart. When everything else appears to shift, my promises remain constant. Do not become anxious when you cannot see every detail of the road ahead. If I showed you every step of your future today, you might become overwhelmed by everything that is still to come. Instead, I lovingly reveal what you need for this moment. One step of obedience leads to another. One act of trust prepares you for the next opportunity. In this way, your faith grows stronger with each passing season. You are not called to understand everything at once. You are called to walk faithfully with me today. My beloved child, I also want you to protect your heart from the temptation of discouragement. There may still be moments when progress seems slower than you expected. There may be days when old doubts attempt to return and whisper familiar fears. Do not entertain those voices. Remember how many times I have already proven my faithfulness. Remember the prayers I have answered, the burdens I have lifted, and the doors I have opened at exactly the right time. Your history with me is filled with evidence that I can be trusted. Let those memories strengthen your confidence whenever uncertainty tries to cloud your vision. Think of a shepherd leading his flock across a wide meadow toward fresh pasture. The sheep cannot always see the destination because hills and valleys lie between where they are and where they are going. They simply continue following the shepherd's voice. They trust that he knows where food, water, and safety can be found. My beloved child, I am leading you with that same faithful care. You do not have to fear the turns in the path because I already know what lies beyond each one. I never lead you toward harm. I always lead you toward life, growth, and deeper peace. As you continue walking with me, you will discover that discernment is one of the precious gifts I am developing within you. You will become less impressed by appearances and more attentive to my quiet guidance. You will learn that not every open door is meant for you, and not every delay is something to resist. Sometimes my protection comes through a closed door. Sometimes my blessing comes through waiting a little longer. Trust that my wisdom sees what your eyes cannot. My beloved child, do not lose the childlike wonder that has begun growing within your heart. Continue expecting my goodness. Continue thanking me for blessings even before you fully see them. Gratitude keeps your heart open to my presence. It reminds you that I have always been faithful and that I always will be. A grateful heart notices my fingerprints in ordinary moments and discovers joy even while waiting for greater promises to unfold. Soon you will look back and realize that what once seemed like delay was actually careful preparation. You will understand why certain relationships entered your life while others quietly faded away. You will see how every lesson, every challenge, and every unexpected turn form part of the beautiful future I have been creating for you. What feels incomplete today will one day reveal itself as perfectly arranged by my loving hands. So keep your eyes upon me, my beloved child. Do not allow distraction to steal your peace or impatience to weaken your faith. Walk with confidence, knowing that I am guiding every step. My presence goes before you, my love surrounds you, and my promises remain unshaken. The season you have been praying for is drawing near with every faithful step you take. Continue trusting me, continue listening for my voice, and continue walking in peace. I am bringing you toward the fulfillment of everything I have lovingly prepared, and you will discover that the greatest blessings were never only the destination. They were also found in every moment we walked this journey together. My beloved child, you have walked with me through many seasons in this journey, and now you are standing at the edge of a new beginning. You may not yet see everything that I have prepared, but your heart has been transformed in ways you could not have imagined when this path first began. You are no longer the same person who once carried every burden alone. You are no longer the one who believed that silence meant I was absent or that delays meant I had forgotten you. Through every lesson, every valley, every unexpected turn, and every quiet victory, I have been teaching you one unchanging truth. I am faithful, and I always will be. There were days when fear seemed louder than faith. There were nights when uncertainty whispered that nothing would ever change. Yet here you are, still walking with me. Not because you have been perfect, but because my grace has carried you. Every time you stumbled, I lifted you. Every time your hope grew dim, I breathed fresh courage into your spirit. Every time you questioned whether you could continue, my love quietly became the strength beneath your weary feet. You have never traveled this road by yourself. My hand has always been holding yours, even when you did not realize it. Imagine a traveler who has climbed a great mountain over many days. Along the journey there were steep paths, loose stones, sudden storms, and moments when the summit seemed impossibly far away. More than once, the traveler considered turning back because the climb felt too difficult. But with every step forward, the air became clearer, the view became wider, and the strength within the traveler quietly increased. Then one day, standing near the top, the traveler looks back and realizes that every difficult step led to a breathtaking view that could never have been seen from the valley below. My beloved child, you are beginning to see your life from a higher place. The trials that once seemed meaningless are revealing their purpose. The waiting that once felt endless is showing its wisdom. The tears that once flowed in sorrow are becoming reminders of my faithfulness. I want you to carry this perspective into the days ahead. Do not forget what I have taught you in the quiet places. Do not abandon the peace you discovered while waiting upon me. The world will always try to pull your attention toward worry, comparison, and hurry. But I am calling you to remain anchored in my presence. Let my peace become your constant companion. Let my promises become the foundation beneath every decision. When uncertainty appears again, remember everything I have already brought you through. Your past with me is filled with evidence that your future is secure in my hands. My beloved child, There will be opportunities ahead that once seemed impossible. Some prayers you almost stopped praying will suddenly begin to unfold before your eyes. Doors you thought would remain closed forever will open with surprising ease. Relationships will be restored, new friendships will blossom, and unexpected blessings will arrive in ways that reveal my loving fingerprints. When these moments come, receive them with humility and gratitude. Never believe that you reach them by your own strength alone. Remember that every blessing is an expression of my goodness, and let every answer draw your heart even closer to mine. As your life begins to reflect more of my faithfulness, others will notice something different about you. They will see a peace that remains steady during difficult seasons. They will see kindness where bitterness could have taken root. They will see hope where fear once lived. Some will ask how you continue moving forward with such confidence. In those moments, simply let your life tell the story. Let your compassion speak. Let your patience reveal my work within you. Let your love become a living reminder that I never abandon those who trust in me. Think about a lamp placed in a dark room. The lamp does not struggle against the darkness. It simply shines. The darkness has no choice but to retreat because light has entered the room. My beloved child, I have called you to be that light, not through your own strength, but through my love shining within you. Every act of forgiveness, every word of encouragement, every quiet act of faithfulness becomes another ray of light reaching someone who desperately needs hope. Never underestimate what I can do through a heart that remains surrendered to me. Do not fear the future, for I am already there. Do not be anxious about tomorrow, for my grace will meet you when tomorrow arrives. Continue taking one faithful step at a time. Continue listening for my voice above every distraction. Continue trusting that even when you cannot see the entire path, I am leading you with perfect wisdom. The same God who carried you through yesterday is the same God who walks beside you today and prepares the way for your tomorrow. My beloved child, something beautiful is unfolding. The seeds planted through your faith, your patience, your prayers, and your perseverance are nearing their season of fruitfulness. Continue to stand firm. Continue to believe. Continue to rest in my unfailing love. You are closer than you realize to seeing the fullness of what I have been preparing since the very beginning. The story is not ending in uncertainty. It is moving toward the fulfillment of my promises, and the dawn of a new season is already rising over your life. Walk into it with confidence, for I am with you, and I will never fail you. My beloved child, as we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to remember that this is not the end of my work in your life. It is the beginning of a new chapter that I have been preparing long before you ever recognized it. Every word I have spoken to your heart has been an invitation to trust me more deeply, love me more fully, and walk beside me with greater confidence. You have listened through moments of hope, moments of healing, moments of waiting, and moments of quiet transformation. Now I ask you to carry these truths with you wherever you go. Never forget that I have always been with you. When you celebrated, I rejoiced with you. When you wept, I held you close. When you felt uncertain, I remained your steady foundation. When you believed you had reached the end of your strength, my grace became enough for another step. Nothing you have faced has been outside my loving care, and nothing you will face tomorrow will ever separate you from my presence. My beloved child, do not return to fear after discovering my peace. Do not return to despair after receiving my hope. Do not allow yesterday's pain to become tomorrow's expectation. Lift your eyes every morning with confidence, knowing that I am already walking ahead of you. The same hands that carried you through every valley will also lead you into every promise I have prepared. The same voice that comforted you in the darkness will continue guiding you in the light. Remember that something big has already begun. It did not begin the day circumstances changed. It began the moment your heart started trusting me more than your fears. It began when you chose faith instead of giving up. It began when you believed that my promises were greater than your doubts. What I have started within you is deeper than outward success. I am building a heart filled with peace, wisdom, courage, compassion, and unwavering trust. Those treasures will remain long after every earthly achievement has faded. Walk into each new day expecting my goodness. Speak words of hope instead of defeat. Choose forgiveness instead of bitterness. Offer kindness even when it is not returned. Be patient with those who are still struggling because you remember the seasons when you also needed my gentle mercy. Let your life become a reflection of my love. You may never fully know how many hearts will be encouraged simply because you chose to remain faithful. There will still be challenges, but they will no longer define you. Storms may still come, but they will not destroy the foundation we have built together. Questions may still arise, but they will not steal your peace because you have learned to trust my heart even when you cannot yet understand my plans. Keep walking one step at a time. Keep listening for my voice. Keep resting in my promises. I will continue opening the right doors, closing the wrong ones, strengthening your spirit, and leading you exactly where you are meant to be. My beloved child, never believe that your story is ordinary. Every prayer you have prayed, every tear you have cried, every act of obedience, and every moment you chose hope instead of fear has become part of the beautiful testimony I am writing through your life. Others will discover courage because they see my faithfulness in you. Others will find peace because your life reflects my presence. This is how my love continues reaching the world, one transformed heart at a time. So go forward with joy. Go forward with peace. Go forward knowing that you are deeply loved, completely known, and forever held in my hands. No power can cancel what I have spoken over your life. No darkness can overcome the light I have placed within you. No obstacle is greater than my purpose for you. I am your Father. I am your shepherd. I am your defender. I am your peace. And I will never stop working for your good. Now receive my blessing, my beloved child. May your heart remain steadfast in every season. May your mind be filled with my peace. May your home be surrounded by my presence. May your steps be guided by my wisdom. May your faith continue growing stronger each day. And whenever you wonder whether I am near, remember these words: I have never left you. I am with you now, and I will be with you forever. Amen. As you leave this message in your heart, hear me once more, my beloved child. When you help my word reach another searching soul, you become part of the harvest I am preparing. Every act of generosity becomes another seed that allows hope, healing, and truth to reach someone who has been praying for a sign. My word declares to you, whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and I speak that promise over your life today as a living blessing. I am inviting you to take part in this work with me. Use Super Thanks or become a channel member so this light can continue reaching hearts across the world. If you desire to give through PayPal, the donation link is waiting for you in the video description, and you can also use the PayPal QR code shown in this video. Do not see this as merely giving a gift. See it as sowing into a harvest of transformed lives that I am bringing forth. I bless every willing hand that gives with faith, and I will multiply peace, strength, and provision according to my perfect wisdom. Let your generosity become a testimony that my love always overflows. Do not wait for another moment to answer this invitation. Step forward in faith, sow your seed with joy, and continue helping my light reach the hearts of my beloved children.